Welcome to Sugarland, Texas. We're live at Constellation Field, home of your Sugarland Skeeters. More live Atlantic League baseball action tonight as the Sugarland Skeeters take on the York Revolution in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Skeeters come in second place in the Fruita Division at 20-12. The York Revolution at 15-12. The Skeeters are a game and a half behind the Barnstormers in second place. York is 3 games back of the Skeeters, and they are 4.5 games behind the front-running Barnstormers in third place. Tonight, it'll be spot starter Joe Van Meter, 1-0 with a 1.92 ERA. The right-hander will face fellow righty Skeeters Matt Sergey, 1-2 with a 7.71 ERA. This is a clash of the Titans, if you will. The last 2 defending champs. Skeeters won the championship in 2016, and last year it was the Revolution who are the defending champs. They will play here today. Hi, I'm Ira Liebman, joined again by Will Scott. Ryan Posner will join us a little bit later. A super night here at the ballpark. It is superhero night, Boy Scout sleepover, and fireworks. We have a great show for you right here on Sweet 96, 96.1 FM as well. And as I welcome in Will, who is dressed as the Flash. I have my own superhero of my own, but Skeeters flexing their super muscles in the series to start this homestand 2 of 3. And it's amazing, I say it and I'll say it a million more times, baseball is the most evening of all the sports. You see it even out sometimes over the course of an inning, a game, a season, and even in a series. Skeeters lost 1-0 in Game 1, won 1-0 last night, and a great pitch game. In fact, Skeeters pitching, their bullpen was phenomenal. Last 10 batters all retired to end the game. And in Game 2 was maybe the most exciting game we've seen all year. Skeeters were up 2-0, losing 2-0. They were leading 4-2. The big error in left by Courtney Wilkins and the big walk-off homer by Wilkins, evening right there over just, of course, a few innings and over the course of this series. But now they take on the defending champs.
Yeah, I mean, a great series against the Ducks to begin the homestand. All 3 games decided by 1 run, like you mentioned, and now we're playing the defending champs, who are doing pretty well, 15-12 on the season. And it's very important for Sugarland to keep pace with Lancaster if they want that first half title. We're just a game and a half back of Lancaster, gaining a half game on them last night. So let's hope that Sugarland can continue the momentum in what should be a pretty interesting pitching matchup tonight.
It will be indeed. Skeeters will have the advantage. Sergey had a bad first inning last time out, but really recovered. He's been solid despite his high ERA. Joe Van Meter probably only going to go 3 innings in a spot start for a player that was already picked up. And speaking of pickups, there's been a lot of moves. We didn't even get a chance to go over them because some of them happened after the game yesterday or right before the game, after our pregame show had already begun. But Pete Incaviglia at the helm. It always seems like he is just a genius in making those moves. We spoke about Danny Reynolds last night, but Skeeters, we didn't even know until he came into the game. James Russell was the last-second addition to the roster, and the Skeeters add Austin Adams, plus a trade that we'll also talk about.
Yeah, James Russell in his Skeeters debut last night. 2 scoreless innings. That was huge to back up Casey Coleman's performance in his first start with Sugarland. James Russell actually coming back to Texas. He's a former Texas Longhorn, was second-team All-Big 12 in that one season at UT, posting a 3.86 ERA. And he was a 14th-round pick with the Cubs in 2007. Of course, a former big leaguer, debuted with Chicago in 2010, and then was with the Tigers organization to start this season with AAA Toledo. Actually pitched for the Airhogs for part of last season. So definitely great to add a former big leaguer to this bullpen.
And the Skeeters also making a trade. He was only here for 1 game, but Todd Cunningham has been shipped to the Kansas City T-Bones. Always love that name.
Well, you know, he did score the tying run in Wednesday's walk-off win, so
he contributed.
He contributed somewhat in his 1 week with the team, but happy for him that he's going to, probably be able to start in Kansas City. Oddly,
I was joking with Darrell Henry, the voice of the Revolution. Last year was the only year in the Skeeters franchise history they had a losing season record against the Revolution, 8-12. So I told them, "You're welcome." Helped you win that championship, and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Skeeters have owned the York Revolution, a 70-50 all-time record against York. Last season, obviously, York winning the entire thing. Skeeters were not that successful against them last season, so you know that they'll be looking to kind of get some revenge after last year's 8-12 record against the Revolution.
Revolution, that was their 3rd title in franchise history. Well, we mentioned all the moves Pete and Cavilla made. Had a chance to sit down with them for the weekly manager show and had a little fun with Inky. And when we come back, we'll hear from the Skeeters skipper. We'll return here on the Skeeters pregame show here in just a moment. Welcome back to the Skeeters pregame show. Ira Liebman here with Pete and Cavilla for the weekly manager show. Pete, going to play a little truth or false with you.
Okay.
Going to have a little fun.
All right.
While at Oklahoma State, you challenged the entire University of Texas bench to a fight and no one came out. True or false?
True.
What happened?
I guess the entire Longhorn team choreographed some kind of deal where the entire team was sitting in the dugout during batting practice, and every time I hit a home run, they would go, ooh, ah. And so finally, I just had enough, and I just walked in there and just said, man, let's go. And all I remember is Gary Ward grabbing me by the throat, our head coach, and I think Greg Swindell tells the story better, but it was my younger days when I was a little young and dumb.
In college, you hit a ball in batting practice that went through an L screen. Is this true or false?
False. I don't remember that one. Yeah.
We're speaking to Skeeters manager Pete and Cavilla. A scout named Mel Divier said you had the quickest bat he ever saw since Andre Dawson.
True.
In spring training with the Rangers, you hit a line drive into a wood fence in the outfield so hard that it stuck inside the fence.
True story.
When was that and where was that?
It was my first spring training. It was in Pompano Beach, Florida. It was actually my first batting practice with the team. And as a matter of fact, Dick Egan's here, the special assistant to the GM with the Tigers. He was our bullpen coach. And he was just telling this story yesterday. He was actually in the outfield, and it went right over his head and stuck right in the wall. And he and Bobby Witt were yelling, the ball's in the wall, it's stuck in the wall, you know what I mean? And so it became a big deal with all the reporters in the team.
First year of your big league career, this is actually surprising, but you got thrown out of games 3 times during your rookie year in the major leagues. What caused the ejections, and is it true?
God, I don't know. I don't even remember that. I mean, I'm sure it's true. I mean, I got thrown out. I remember getting thrown out of some games, but I guess if you looked it up, you're probably right. So I'm going to say true.
Having a little fun here on the Manager Show with Skeeter skipper Pete and Cavilla. You were the first Ranger to hit 20 home runs in 5 straight seasons at Old Arlington Stadium with the wind blowing in. Is that accurate?
Yep, that's true. Wind blew in every day. It was actually a really tough ballpark to hit home runs in because that wind blew straight in every day. So, all the home runs you hit there, you had to hit them to get them out of there.
After you retired, you opened a restaurant called Inky's, and you called it the second best day of your life.
Well, true and false. I always say that the best day of my life is my children being born. I would say the second day was, being able to do something I love to do and be a part of this game for as long as I have. And yes, I did open a bar restaurant. It was an Italian bistro, kind of an Italian sports bar bistro, and I opened it for a couple years and then I sold it.
Now, as the manager of Grand Prairie, you had a guy who threw a game for you, kind of a simulated game. Turned out to be current big leaguer Chris Martin with the Rangers. You were so impressed with him when you saw him initially throwing for you that you put a uniform on him that night and you got a save that evening.
Yeah, I don't know if he got a save, but I did put a uniform on that evening. He did pitch one inning. I can't remember if it was in a save situation or not. But that was an unusual story. When I took the job in Grand Prairie, there was an agreement that we had to have a in-season tryout for all the anybody that wanted to try out for the team, and so we had it for several years. And you're not going to find too many guys that can play at that level. But I was walking by the bullpen and heard this thump at about 93, 94, and my pitching coach started screaming for me, and so I went over there, and he threw 3 or 4 more pitches at like 94, 95, and I went, okay, hold on. Is it a candid camera? Is this a joke? I mean, who are you? And so he told me a story that, hey, he was a draft and follow out of McLennan College, and he, hurt his shoulder, and they couldn't find anything wrong with it. He was working at some kind of loading dock place, and he lifted the box and his shoulder popped and started pitching in a Sunday, club league, and somebody told him to come out, and next thing you know, he's in the big leagues.
Speaking of the Skeeters manager, Pete Incaviglia, playing a little truth or false. Now, while in touring a caravan with the Rangers, you made popcorn one night in a caravan and it caught fire. True or false?
Oh, that's completely false. I was on that trip when the camper burnt down, motorhome burnt down, but no, I was not making popcorn. That's false. Yeah, I had nothing to do with that.
Skeeters manager Pete Incaviglia back on the Skeeters pregame show here in just a moment.
Welcome back to the Skeeters pregame show. Ira Lieben along with Will Scott. Time to take a look at the starting pitching matchup. We'll start with York Revolution right-hander Joe Van Meter.
He's actually just making his first start of the season. Like you said, a spot starter. This will only be his 3rd start in his last 4 seasons of playing professional baseball. He's a Virginia Commonwealth University alum, spent 4 seasons in the Rangers organization, reached Double-A Frisco with them, and he's done very well as a reliever this season. Ira 1-0 with a 1.92 ERA in 9 1/3 innings pitched. But like you said earlier, you don't expect him to go past a 3rd inning tonight.
Well, he'll be opposed by Matt Sergey, the right-hander, 1-2 with a 7.71 ERA, a little deceiving. More on that in a minute. This will be his 4th start in 14 innings, 12 strikeouts, just 2 walks and 17 hits. 28-year-old, 6'4", 180, from Plantation, Florida, drafted by the Brewers in the 45th round in 2007, out of South Plantation High School in Florida. He lost his first start, allowed 4 runs in 4 innings. His second start was terrific, 5 innings, 1 run. But then you look at his last start, 5 innings, 7 runs, and you think, well, he got shelled, but really not true. He allowed 6 runs in the first inning, but just 1 run over the next 4 innings and settled down nicely. Really, most guys would have packed it in, but he gave the Skeeters all he had and kept them in that game, despite losing that one 8-3. Well, toiling with a little history, on May 20th against Southern Maryland, Sergey threw 4 2/3 inning of no-hit baseball, which is the longest no-hit effort for the Skeeters started this season. Skeeters have yet to have a no-hitter in franchise history. They were 1 out away just a few years ago. In 2018, he made 8 appearances for High A Stockton in the Cal League. Sergey went 1-0 with a 3.48 ERA. Well, during that same season, he struck out 11, walked 4, allowing just 7 hits. 13 games, 12 starts with the Kansas City T-Bones in the American Association. Sergey 5-4 that same season with a 3.30 ERA, and he has spent time with the A's system, getting as high as High A in 2016 and 2017. Through the first perfect game in Frontier League history on August 14th, 2014, as a member of the Washington Wild Things, he is 20-15 lifetime, a 2.82 ERA, played 2 seasons collegiately at Boward College in Fort Lauderdale, 2 seasons at Campbell University. So with a lot of the Skeeters starters being picked up, a lot of moves, Ben Grisette still on the disabled list. Mitch Talbot picked up their ace gun, so that's 2/5 of the rotation. Sergey has filled in nicely, and the Skeeters' right-handed starter looks to fill in and give the Skeeters another solid effort. Really, if you can go 5 innings today, Van Meter making just his second start, he's not going to go too much further than maybe 4, and Skeeters will have a big advantage. Well, the national anthem is ready to get underway, so we will duck out when we come back. The starting lineups and the first pitch. It is time to play ball when we return right here to Constellation Field in just a moment. Well, the national anthem has concluded. Time to take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting York Revolution. Jared Mitchell will be in right. He'll be the leadoff man. Batting second and playing second is former big leaguer Alexi Casilla. Former Skeeter and former Atlantic League Player of the Year Wellington Dotel in left bats third. The cleanup hitter in DH is Melky Mesa. At third, Zach Wilson. He'll be batting fifth. Michael Burgess bats sixth. He'll be at first. The shortstop, Jose Cuevas, bats seventh, batting eighth. Ruby Silva, he'll be in center, and batting ninth, switch hitting catcher, Tyler Clark.
And in left field for the Skeeters, it will be Courtney Hawkins. Manning center, Kyle Kubica. In right field, Dennis Phipps. Third base, Albert Cordero. Shortstop will be Alvaro Rondon. He's on a hot streak. Second base, Colin Walsh, who had a solid game last night after being activated from the disabled list 2 nights ago. Matt Chavez will man first base. Behind the plate, our player of the game from last night, Derek Norris. And, of course, on the mound, making his 4th start of the season, Matt Sergey.
Oh, Sergey will look to rebound from that last start. Again, really that start was a little bit better than people think it was. You see the 7 earned runs in 5 innings, but, you know, when you look at that game, he allowed 3 runs in the first, and he allowed 4 in the second. But then he settled down nicely, really only allowed 2 hits the rest of the way from the 3rd through the 5th, 3 shutout innings, kept his team in the game. The Skeeters wound up losing a little bigger with some tack-on runs later on in that game, but he did nicely and really has been pretty good for the Skeeters overall. Oh, I think his 7.71 ERA a little deceptive. Well, the shadows are already across the mound, so he will not have to worry about pitching from daylight to darkness, although it's more of an advantage for the hitter. But another nice day here in Sugar Land. 90 degrees here before the game is about to start. 59% humidity. They say it feels like 100, but it feels like maybe 98 or 99.
I think this feels
distinct
fantastic.
Difference, I think. Oh, Sergey, and take a look at that wind, which is howling in from right center. It's been unusual this year. It's been blowing in a lot as always, but blowing in from right center instead of left center. And it's a strong one today, a 16-mile-an-hour southwest wind. So we'll see if it affects the lefties as it usually does. Speaking of lefties, left-handed right fielder Jared Mitchell will step in to lead it off here. Got to keep Mitchell off the base paths. Not only is he hitting .270 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs, but he is tied for 4th in the league with 8 stolen bases. Well, Mitchell will step in here against Sergey. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Skeeters and the Revolution, the last 2 Atlantic League champions. Of course, York the defending champs, but the last 2 Atlantic League champions will battle out here for the first time here in 2018. Sergey will wind and fire. They will set up away on the first pitch, and this one is a strike. 0-1, and we're underway. Game 1 of a 3-game series, also game 4 of a 6-game homestand. Skeeters just coming off playing the Ducks and winning 2 of the first 3 on this homestand. Eric Davis is behind the dish calling balls and strikes. The first base umpire, Brian Page, and Michael Durantis is the third base up. Swan misses. 1 ball in, 1 strike the count here to Mitchell. Mitchell, number 2, bats from the left side with an open stance. And much like the Skeeters' Dennis Phipps, only his front toes are on the ground. This one is a strike, and I got to tell you, I dislike how Eric Davis, despite him being a good umpire, calls strikes. He does it right in his chest, so with his back to me, I can barely see it. 1-2. Sergey will kick and deal as they set up inside, and the 1-2 a little bit low at 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Jared Mitchell.
Mitchell, the LSU alum, he won 2 national championships at LSU in 2 different sports, 2007 football, 2009 baseball.
The 2-2 from Sergey. Swung on and missed, strike 3. First K of the day, and there is 1 away, so good start for Sergey. 1 out, none on. That'll bring in former big leaguer Alexi Casilla. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, and you're likely to win 1 national championship as a player, let alone 2 in 2 different sports. Quite an accomplishment he will savor for the rest of his life. 2 rings, 1 on each finger from 2 sports, national champions. That's pretty nice.
And those were the last 2 national championships, or excuse me, the 2009 baseball championship was the last championship that LSU has won. So he was on that legendary 2019.
First pitch here to Alexi Casilla. This one is fouled down the left side. No balls and 1 strike to count. Casilla last year, 358, 4 home runs, 34 RBIs, had a 23-game hitting streak from June 11th through July 26th, and that's the 3rd longest in Revs history. The 0-1, swung and chop. Right back to Sergey, pops off the mound, flips it underhand, nice play, and Sergey off to a terrific start here. 1-3 on the putout, and there's 2 down with none on for former Skeeter and a former Atlantic League Player of the Year, Wellington Dotel, who started the season here with the Skeeters and having a nice year. 308 with a home run and 11 RBIs for Dotel. Don't ask, don't tell, I guess, for Wellington. Oh, in steps the former Skeeter. Slaps his hand, takes a practice swing, low and away. He swings kind of down, away from the plate, like he's chasing a ball low and away. He steps into the box. His routine, he digs that back foot in. Wide open stance from the right side and waggles that bat quite a bit. Righty-righty matchup for Sergey, who has obviously seen him before as a teammate in inter-squad games here in spring training. First pitch misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Dotel on a roll, a 12-game hitting streak. The 1-0. This one swung and fouled off to the right side. 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
And you mentioned that 12-game hitting streak. He's hitting .340, 17 for 50 on that streak, and brings in a lot of momentum into a game where he's playing with a lot of motivation. He was cut from the Skeeter team earlier this year.
The 1-1, a little roller, left side of the mound. Sergey picks it up bare hands, fires it to first in time. Great play by the pitcher. What a job by Sergey. Takes care of business all himself. A strikeout and 2 1-3 putouts. 1-2-3 go the Revolution. They do not score here in the top of the first. Skeeters coming to bat for the first time when we return. Well, it is time to take a look at the starting lineup for your Sugar Land Skeeters. Leading off, Barrett Barnes. Barnes will have the night off in the field. He'll be the DH. The second leading hitter in the Atlantic League, Albert Cordero. The switch hitter will bat second. In the 3-hole, last night's player of the game, Derek Norris. He'll do the catch and cleanup hitter. Leading the league in home runs and RBIs, left fielder Courtney Hawkins. Matt Chalmers at first bats fifth. Dennis Phipps will play his first time in the outfield. He'll be on right. Batting sixth, batting seventh, Colin Kibitza in center tonight. Colin Walsh at second bats eighth and batting ninth. Skeeter shortstop Alvaro Rondon.
The former Sugar Land Skeeter, Wellington Dotel in left field. Ruby Silva will man center field. Jaron Mitchell, the former LSU Tiger, in right. Third base will be Zach Wilson. First base, Michael Burgess. And for the shortstop, Jose Cuevas. Second base, Alexi Casilla. Catching Tyler Clark and pitching Van Meter.
Now, first pitch here by the right-hander Joe Van Meter to Barrett Barnes, who leads the league in walks and really been hitting very well. Got last night off, really did need a rest. Fouls the first pitch back, but Barnes is on a roll. Last 6 games, hitting .435, going 10 for 23. Also includes 5 runs scored, 3 doubles, a home run, and an RBI. Barnes overall .260, a home run, and 6 RBIs. They will set up inside here. Van Meter's 0-1, and this one is a little bit low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Van Meter, a spot starter here for the York Revolution. Kind of a pinch hitting role as a pitcher, if you will. They had a pitcher signed who was supposed to start this one. Detweiler was picked up. This one is through the left side for a base hit just past the outstretched arm in the hole of shortstop Jose Cuevas to his right. Barnes continues his hot hitting, and the Speeds are down at first here with nobody out.
Barnes' last 6 games batting .435 and opens this one up with the single. Skeeters off to a good start against Van Meter, who's been a solid reliever, but just making his first start of the season.
Inceps Albert Cordero, mentioned second in the league, 367, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. He is tied for first in the league in hits with 44, and he is second in total bases with 65. First pitch to Cordero is hit deep to right field. The wind's going to hold this one up. Actually, it's going to blow it down. And coming in to grab it is Jared Mitchell. You got to be careful of line drives here. The ball will be blown down very quickly. So Cordero hits it on the nose, but just an easy out for Mitchell. 1 on and 1 out now here for Derek Norris.
Yeah, sharply hit ball to right field from Cordero. When it left the bat, thought it might have been extra bases, but that wind definitely affecting that ball. And you said it, the wind definitely will play a factor in this game.
So in steps Derek Norris, 250 for Dino. 3 home runs and 17 RBIs, but he has been on fire as of late. And you wonder, with all the signings going on with the Skeeters, they have lost 6 now with Danny Reynolds being picked up yesterday. How far behind Norris is, especially since he's started swinging a potent bat. First pitch is a strike. No balls and 1 strike the count here to Norris. No score here, bottom of the first just underway. Norrisaurus Rex, as he's known, last 6 games, 7 for 22 with 318 mark. Includes a home run and 7 RBIs in those 6 games. This one, strike. Looked to be a little low and away. Norris checked with Eric Davis. No balls and 2 strikes. And of course, Norris, not only a smart player and a great defensive catcher, also has to be a little bit of a politician. He can't get too annoyed with Davis. He wants strikes for his pitchers. Down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes, however. They set up outside, and this one swung and a miss. And that last strike, which Norris didn't agree with, really set up that strikeout for Van Meter. First strikeout for the right-hander. 2 down, 1 on. And Courtney Hawkins, who has been a terror as of late. We mentioned the walk-off home run in Game 2 of the Duck Series. Well, bad here. Just 235 for an average, but 8 home runs, 30 RBIs. Both lead the Atlantic League, to go along with leading the Atlantic League in extra base hits with 17 and 4th in total bases with 60. Very slightly open stance from the right side of the box and a little bit of a crouch for Hawkins. Throw over to first. Barnes scampers back, standing up in plenty of time. I'd say look for Barnes to go here if Hawkins goes down in the count. Shadows almost all the way across the infield. Only Jose Cuevas at short in the sun. Swing and a miss here. No balls and 1 strike to count. Van Meter, not a hard thrower, but a decent pitcher. See if they come back inside here on Wilkins to try to tie him up. You don't want a power hitter extending those arms, and that's exactly what they do here. The 0-1, way inside. Ducks back the knees, low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Van Meter, 15 and 26 lifetime, a 3.95 ERA, 121 games, just 34 starts before coming into this season. 13 saves as well, so he's one of those what I call a utility pitcher. It's one high and outside, 2-1. Actually coined that phrase when former Skeeter Michael Nix was here. He was in lots of roles. He was a reliever, a closer at one point, a starter. In fact, he was the closer on one of the Revolution teams on those back-to-back championships in 2010 and 2011. The 2-1. This one a strike on the inside corner. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 on. Do not think Barnes will be going here. Wilkins looks back at the umpire. A couple of quick words. The second straight batter is not thrilled with the call. Pretty good crowd on hand here tonight. A super night, superhero night, Boy Scout sleepover, and fireworks after the game. The 2-2 swung and a miss, strike 3, and that will do it. 2 straight strikeouts to end it. Runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We are through 1 inning of play, scoreless between the last 2 champions here in the Atlantic League. We move to the top of the second. Skeeters and Revolution scoreless. Matt Sergey with a great first inning, 1-2-3. Struck out the first batter he faced and took care of the last two himself. Ground ball back to the pitcher, threw him to first, so have not got the ball out of the infield. He will face the meat of the order here, however, 4, 5, and 6 after the 1-2-3 first. Melky Mesa, Zach Wilson, and Michael Burgess. Mesa comes in .333 with a home run and 8 RBIs. Shadows now all the way across the infield and in right field to only center fielder Kyle Kibitza and Courtney Hawkins in left in the sun. But that is a brutal sun for Hawkins. He is looking straight into the sun here until that shade. You can see him shading his eyes already with the pitch just about ready to deliver here from Sergey. And this one is swung and a miss. Good pitch there by Sergey, a slider low and away. And all the cleanup hitter Mesa can do is just weakly fouled that one off just to the right of home 0-1.
Mesa in his last 10 games batting .386.
A guy who is hot right now. Sergey will have to be careful. The 0-1 fastball this time misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. No score here in the top of the second. Saw some great starting pitching in the last series for the Skeeter starters. The 1-1. This one high, 2-1.
Mesa definitely gets a lot of hits, but also strikes out a lot. 15 strikeouts in his first 13 games with the York Revolution this season.
His name sounded familiar. Played for the Yankees in 2012 and 2013. Swings and misses here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He was a high prospect at one point. Really only 8 games in the big leagues between those 2 seasons.
But he had a .400 career batting average in those 8 games with New York.
Yeah, see, the glass is always half full with you, Will. That's what I like about you. The 2-2 from the Skeeters right-hander, swung on a hit high in the air to left field. Hawkins have to be careful here with that sun. He comes in now, still coming in. That ball just being blown down today by the wind both in right and in left. And so far, 4 up, 4 down here for the Skeeters right-hander Matt Sergey. That'll bring in Zach Wilson, 262, 4 home runs and 14 RBIs for Zach. No score here. Top of the second, 1 out, none on. There'll be a righty-righty matchup here for the Skeeters hurler. See what Norris decides to set up here. He'll set up outside. And the first pitch is a little bit low and away in the dirt. Wilson, oddly enough, was also a Yankees prospect. Spent the last 3 years with the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, and he had some good years there. We go back to 2016. He had 19 home runs, 70 RBIs while batting .278. Made the All-Star team. This one hit high in the air to left. Wilkins again there, and he'll come in, and he'll bring it down. So Courtney makes the second out. So far, no trouble with the sun with the glasses down. 5 up and 5 down to start this one for Sergey. Remember, he allowed 7 runs in the first 2 innings in his last start. Oh, pitching much better here. Burgess, 193, 5 home runs and 12 RBIs will come in here. Now Sergey will wait till all his fielders get back into position. It looks like they're going to shift over just a drop. Walsh at second now, way towards the right side. Want the left-hander up. First pitch here from the righty. This one is high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
Burgess, you obviously see that .193 average struggling. He's also struck out 8 times in his last 4 games.
The 1-0 from Sergey. This one is a little bit low. Didn't miss by much. 2 balls and no strikes to count here. That wind really howling in from right. Burgess, a former first-round pick of the Nationals, 49th overall. That was right out of high school in Tampa, Florida. I'd like to take a peek who was in that first round before him, and let's take a peek now after that foul. 2-1 the count. First overall that year, David Price of the Rays, Mike Moustakas second, Josh Fitters third, and former Atlantic League player Daniel Moskos.
Those first 2 guys picked it all right.
Yeah, Matt Wieters was 5th that year. Ross Dittweiler, who was just signed, was supposed to start today. He was 6th overall, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matt Laporta, Madison Bumgarner was 10th in that draft. This is a heavy draft. Jason Hayward, 14th in that same draft. Quite a good first round. Todd Frazier was 34th overall. This one on the inside corner, strike 3. Second K of the day, and there is 3 away. Second straight 3 up, 3 down inning for up and 6 down to start this one. Another good start for Skeeters starting pitcher. Middle of the second inning, Skeeters and Revolution scoreless. Well, so far, Skeeter's right-hander showing his superpowers here on Superhero Night. Matt Chavez, Dennis Phipps, and Kyle Kapitza will try to get Sergey a run. Skeeters had a leadoff hit in the first by Barrett Barnes, but the next 3 went down in order. Chavez, 341, good for 5th in the league with a home run and 7 RBIs for number 16. It was in a little bit of a slump, but now he is clearly out of it. Chavez has a 7-game hitting streak, 8 for 26 during this streak, a 308 mark. First pitch to the right-handed hitter, fouled back into the net, just to our right. No balls and 1 strike here to Chavez. Chavez tied for 4th with 9 doubles on the season. Also 7th in on-base percentage at .420. He's been a big part of this Skeeters offense the whole year so far.
Tonight he is Matt Man.
I see what they did on the scoreboard. This one is a little bit, no, called a strike. I got to wait on Eric Davis. He's tricky, 0-2.
That's a good one. That's definitely going to be one of the better ones from tonight.
I got to pay attention to those here on Superhero Night. Every Skeeters player has a different superhero name and mask. Slightly open stance from the right side for Chavez. The right-hander, Van Meter ready here. They're going to set up inside. And the 0-2 swung in, hit down the right side and fairly deep into the corner. Long run by Mitchell, but he's going to run out of room. That one foul off the facade of the grandstand, comes back onto the field, and Mitchell will retrieve it.
Yeah, that one landed just right and just short of the Aero Plumbing sign. Foul ball out of play. Chavez got a hold of it, but that wind definitely making an impact once again. That ball would have gotten a lot farther. Probably still would have been foul, though.
Oh, Chavez still down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes here against Van Meter. The Skeeters are very good, very patient at the plate. They've got to make Van Meter throw a lot of pitches, get into that bullpen early. Van Meter is only going to go 3 or 4 tops anyway in a spot start here. This one swung and missed, strike 3. So 3rd straight strikeout going back to last inning for Joe Van Meter. 1 out, none on here for Dennis Phipps.
Yeah, Barnes got aboard with a single to start the first inning. Since then, 4 straight retired, 3 straight Ks.
Phipps 340 now, a home run and 9 RBIs. He has been destroying the ball. See if he can do it. Here's his first action in the field. He's playing right field tonight. See how he does. Been a DH for the rest of the games. Last 11 games hitting .415, going 17 for 41 with 3 doubles, a home run, 8 RBIs, and 6 walks. So not only has he gotten hits, he's been on base 23 times in his last 41 appearances in the last 11 games. I'm talking about twice a game. It's one high and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, no score here, bottom of the second. Ira Liebman along with Will Scott. Ryan Posner will join us later. Dennis Flash with a P-H, L-A-S-H, or his superhero name. So 1 is swung and a miss, 1 and 2 chase the ball low, and of course in the same outfit that you have on.
How about that?
Flash. I always liked the Flash. I was always partial to the Flash and Thor growing up. Who is your favorite superhero? Besides Mr. Incredible. He's a cartoon. He does not count
Probably,
in this
I got it.
conversation.
Probably Flash.
You watched the TV show?
Some of it.
So no.
Seen the
1-2.
movies.
This one is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count.
I wanted to wear a Mr. Incredible shirt tonight, but couldn't find one anywhere. But this will do.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, none on. Looks like they will set up outside here on Phipps. The 2-2. Swung and missed at a ball low and away. That's the 4th straight strikeout here for Van Meter. Van Meter with superpowers here tonight. Skeeters will have to feed him some kryptonite. As Kyle Kibitzer will step in. 252, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs for Kyle. The 22 ribbies tied for 4th in the league for the left-handed hitting center fielder.
Well, Van Meter's kryptonite may be the 3rd or 4th inning because he hasn't been past 2 innings this entire season.
You got to think as long as he's pitching well, they'll push him to 3. And if he does well beyond that, maybe 4, but that is going to be it. So 1 swung and a miss, no balls and 1 strike. Kibitzer had been in a slump, starting to raise the average a little bit again. Last 6 games, 5 for 19, a 263 mark, so it's getting a little bit better. Kibitzer, the former big league with the Angels, way too good of a hitter to be in a slump. At least this long. This one is down low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You'll like this. Van Meter pitched in the Australian Baseball League for the Perth Heat.
Very nice.
A couple years back.
Yeah, it's great baseball over there. Of course, you speak the language, although I thought I did. Didn't understand them very well. This one fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Even a couple of friends of mine, I was like, what did you just say? Speak English. Yeah, the Aussies got some accents on them.
Good day, mate.
That's the least of what they say. As my friend said, it's a lazy language. That was coming from in Australia. They don't really fully pronounce words, only the kind of first couple of letters. This one swung and a missed strike 3. 8 strikeouts as he strikes out the side in order here. And the Skeeters will have to use their superpowers against Super Joe Van Meter tonight. We are through 2, and we are still scoreless. Top of the third inning in a scoreless contest. And Will, who's been better? Matt Sergey, who has retired 6 up and 6 down, or Joe Van Meter, who has struck out 5 straight, and he has retired 6 in a row after allowing a leadoff hit to Barrett Barnes.
I'm seeing a trend here, Ira. The starting pitchers during this homestand for both teams, have done very, very well. Skeeters starting pitching yet to allow a single earned run. If you had to pick a better one of the two tonight, it'd be hard to not pick the guy that struck out 5 straight guys. But wow, Matt Sergey also pitching very well. He hasn't allowed a base runner.
Well, in steps Jose Cuevas. It'll be Cuevas, Ruby Silver, and Tyler Clark here. 7, 8, and 9. Top of the third here. 268, no home runs, 5 RBIs. The Skeeters right-hander kicks and fires, and this one is hit into the left field corner. This one is trouble, and this one will be a foul ball. Big break for the Skeeters. That one was tattooed and just was fouled down in that left field corner. There is not a lot of room.
Cuevas has spent the last 5 seasons in independent ball, 3 in the Canadian American Association and 2 in the Atlantic League. Spent 4 seasons in the Giants organization, reaching AAA with them. Actually played the last 2 seasons with the Bluefish.
So no balls and 2 strikes to count here. Now the advantage here is Sergey can go 5 or 6. Van Meter is only going to go 3 or 4. The 0-2 from the Skeeters right-hander. This one low and in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Shadows now all the way across the infield and just about across the entire outfield. Their only center fielder, Kyle Kubica, is in the sun. Skeeters such a versatile team. You got Jan Sant, who's out of the lineup tonight, plays second and center. Kubica mostly in right now. He's in center. Phipps is in right.
Of course, Cordero at third, who's normally used to being a catcher.
This one is fouled into the screen. Count remains 1 and 2. At short, Ron Doan plays terrific at both second and short. No runs on no hits here for the Revolution. No runs on 1 hit for the Skeeters. Sergey gets the sign here from Norris, but timeout called here by Cuevas. Looks like he had something in his eye. He's all right. They set up low and away here. This one is swung and fouled off to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here.
Cuevas last year with the Bluefish, 279 average and 7 home runs. He was an all-star in 2016. Definitely has a lot of experience against the Skeeters.
Cuevas just turned 30 years old just before the season on April 5th. Former 29th round pick of the Giants out of Lee University. This one broken bat past the right side of the mound and Sergey, but Walsh has it at second. Just snips the runner. Cuevas at first for 4-3 put out. Part of that bat shattered. A little piece of it to the left of the mound. Oh, Sergey saws him off. 7 up, 7 down to start this one as Ruby Silver steps in. 241 with a home run and 7 RBIs for Ruby.
Yeah, don't let that average fool you, because in his last 7 games, he's 11 for 27, batting .404, just 10 for 60 in his first 16 games. Really starting to turn it around.
And really a big part of that York championship last year. Joined them at the end of the year and really helped them get to the title and win it after Alexi Casilla had to leave late in the season. This one is chopped fouling off the foot. No balls and 1 strike to count here. Last year for the Revolution in 7 games at the end of the season, he hit .379 with a home run and an RBI. It really helped them in the playoffs. Helped them get that ring. 151 career home runs, 412 career RBIs, and 78 career steals. The 0-1. Swung and chopped right side. Walsh to his left. Will have to hurry to first, and they just get him. Walsh had to shift way to his left, and Silva busting it down the line. 8 up, 8 down here for Skeeters right-hander Matt Sergey.
Yeah, Walsh beat Silva by about half a step. I don't think he was expecting him to get that close to being safe, but nonetheless, 2 down for the Skeeters.
Then steps Tyler Clark, a New Haven, Connecticut native. Switch hitting catcher will bat here from the right side. I guess he has abandoned switch hitting. He is a big catcher, too. Get to his numbers in just a minute. This one is fouled at the plate. No balls and 1 strike. He is 6'5", 210 pounds. That is a big catcher. It's out of the Joe Mauer School of Catchers. No balls and 1 strike the count here on the number 9 hitter, Tyler Clark. Clark also a part of this Revolution team as the backup catcher last year. This one high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. No score here in the top of the third between the last 2 Atlantic League champions. Skeeters in 2016 and York the defending champs. This one misses low and away. 2 balls and a strike here.
Clark currently in a 2 for 15 slump, but those 2 hits have gone for 5 RBIs. So he's doing something right, I guess, when he gets him some hits.
The 2-1 by Sergey. This one low and away. 3 balls and a strike, and in danger of breaking his streak of 8 straight retired to start this one. Last for York, only 14 games he played in. Hit 139. The 3-1. Swung and a little blooper into center field. This will fall in and break up the perfect game and no hitter. So 8 up, 8 down to start this one for Sergey. And with 2 outs, 1 on, we go back to the top of the order with the left-hand hitting Jared Mitchell.
Well, I'll say it. Tyler Clark's not the guy you expected to get the first hit of this game after Sergey retired the first 8 batters. So Jared Mitchell now top of the order. See if York can get something going here in the the top of the third.
No score here between the Revs and the Skeeters. Mitchell, a former 10th round draft pick of the Twins out of Westgate High School in Louisiana. And he was a first round pick 3 years later out of LSU. This one swung and fouled into the screen. No balls and 1 strike to count. Spent last year with the Revolution as well. Hit 295, 14 home runs, 62 RBIs. Also stole 24 bases, so had quite the year.
LSU victorious today in their first NCAA tournament game over Ryan Posner's Aztecs.
Gonna rub that in his face, aren't you? Mitchell also spent part of the season with the Revolution in 2016 after joining the Revs from the Yankees organization on Double-A Trenton that year. This one fouled off, no balls and 2 strikes to count.
Mitchell was actually drafted out of high school by the Twins in the 10th round, turned down a $700,000 signing bonus to be a Tiger.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 on. No score here in the top half of the third inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for both teams. Sergey looks over a couple times at first at Clark. I don't think he's going to be swiping a bag here. And there he goes, actually. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Norris was about to fire it down to second, excuse me. That will do it. 3rd K of the day. And there is 3 away. So the streak broken as he tried for his 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Middle of the 3rd inning. Skeeters and Revolution are scoreless. Bottom of the third inning. No score here in this one. Skeeters and Revolution. Skeeters will try to strike first. It'll be 8-9-8-1. Colin Walsh, Alvaro Rondon, and Barrett Barnes. Scoring first important for the Skeeters. They are 16-3 when they score first. When the opponent scores first, 4 games under 500 at 4-8. Walsh comes in at 281. No home runs, 4 RBIs, just recently back from the DL. Last 9 games overall between those stint on the DL was 9 for 26 at 346 mark. They set up inside here on Colin, and this one is a little bit inside. 1 ball and no strikes to count to the switch hitting Walsh. Everybody in the shade now, the only sun left on the outfield wall. The right-hander Van Meter ready to deal here to Clark, who sets up inside. This one way inside, 2-0.
I like Walsh's approach at the plate. Doesn't take that long between swings. Just gets right back in the batter's box.
I'll set up inside again here. The 2-0, swinging a hit to the right side and through for a base hit. The Skeeters get their first hit since Barrett Barnes led off the game as the first batter with a single. Joe Van Meter had struck out 5 straight hitters. A 1-on, none out for Alvaro Rondon.
Alvar Zone is
was that Frozone from The Incredibles?
Yeah, from The Incredibles. Gotta love that.
Alvaro Zone.
Oh man, that's great. Great work.
Would you bunt Rondon here in a scoreless game?
He's hitting the ball too well right now. I don't think so.
Squares to bunt and bunts through it for a strike. No balls and 1 strike to count here.
Well, be interested to see if he tries that again.
Let's see if Walsh gets a little bit bigger lead off of first here. I'll set up inside on Rondon, swinging away this time and punches it into right field for a base hit. Walsh had to hold up. The ball was hit in front of him. And now the Skeeters in business here, first and second, nobody out. And Barnes with great speed. You could see him try to beat out a bunt single here, though he is hitting extremely well. 435 in his last 6 games.
Well, even if he does bunt and you have to use him as a sacrifice, you move the runners to second and third, and then you bring Cordero up. So it's really a win-win situation here, but you're right. Barnes has been hitting the ball really well as of late. Fully expect him to swing away right here.
Now, right-handed batter, if he pushed it towards first with his speed, he could have a shot at beating it out. See what he does here. Double take to second. Now Barnes finally had enough of Van Meter taking way too long. Calls for timeout. It's granted by home plate umpire Eric Davis. Van Meter kicks and deals, and Barnes is squaring here, but bunts through it. And to his surprise, he thought he got the bat back. No balls and 1 strike to count. What did you think? Did he get the bat back or no?
Yeah, it looked like, to me, Barnes quite shocked, as am I. The home plate umpire, Eric Davis, did not agree. What'd you think?
I thought he got the bat back, and looks like it was coming from the bench as well as Eric Davis turned toward the Skeeters bench. Heard some barking. See if he tries it again here. In at third is Wilson. Does not bunt. This one almost goes to the backstop. Tyler Clark had a lunge to his right and backhand it. Just came up with that one. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. And you'll see managers sometimes put the bunt on, then take it off, then put it back on. Let's see what he does here. If he's not on here, then he's going to be swinging right the rest of this at bat. Swinging away and takes this one low, 2-1. Also a good hit and run count here, but nobody out. Going to be a little risky. You don't want to have a strike him out, throw him out.
Barnes is the Barrett Panther tonight.
Van Meter takes a look at second. Kicks and fires home. Swung and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Albert Cordero on deck. See how many runners he has on base. Barnes would like to at least advance the runners, but now he's going to have to kind of hit a slow roller to the right side to advance. Two balls, two strikes coming here from Van Meter. This one is low and away, ball 3, 3-2. Oh, they're going to call strike 3, and I think he just got tossed, and I don't blame him. Barnes had a legitimate beef. First of all, the bunt attempt was not a strike, and then he calls strike 3 on a ball low and away, and here comes Pete Incaviglia, and this is not going to be pretty, and I do not blame Pete at all.
Well, you know, it's hard to hear what Barnes is saying from down there, but he really didn't have much of an argument with the home plate umpire Eric Davis. He might have said something, I don't know, but I don't know if that warranted a ejection. And either way, that was probably a ball on the outside.
Oh, Barnes will be out of this game as he strikes out here. It's the sixth strikeout, a questionable one at that. And Incaviglia is certainly not done. And Eric Davis keeps walking away from Inky, but Inky keeps following him, and Pete getting very close to being tossed himself, and I don't think he cares if he does. He is going to back his player 100% here because the umpire, Eric Davis, is completely wrong here.
We've seen Pete tossed a couple times this season.
Now Juice, Skeeters hitting coach and third base coach, going to try to drag Pete away before he does get run from this game. He's already been thrown out twice this year. First base umpire Brian Page also running some screen here. Now Pete's going to walk back to the dugout now, still chirping. Gets a nice round of applause here from the Skeeters fans.
Heard him say, it's baseball, man, let's go.
First and second, one out now for the switch hitting Albert Cordero. Will bat here from the left side. 35 pitches here for Van Meter in the third. That is really terrific. 25 for strikes, 10 for balls. Exactly 2.5 to 1 strike to ball ratio. Now Van Meter out of his rhythm here after having to wait all this time. In steps Cordero as that crouch from the left side. This one swung and foul tipped into the mitt of Tyler Clark. No balls and one strike to count.
So this was supposed to be Anthony Jansanti's day off, but with Barnes being ejected, got to expect Jansanti to come into the game now.
Could be him, Javier Betancourt.
Todd Cunningham, of course, traded, so
Jansanti would be the likely candidate just because of his speed, and Barnes in the top spot. The 0-1. Swung and foul tipped again into the mid of Clark. 0-2 here on Cordero. No balls, two strikes, one out. Runners on first and second. Walsh led off with a single. Rondon followed with a single. Then Barnes struck out on a questionable call and got thrown out of this game. Van Meter taking forever between pitches here with runners on. They'll set up way outside. This one low and away. Ball 1-2. And some pitchers are great as long as they have no runners on. Once they have runners on, they are extremely distracted and their game completely changes. Remember, the Rangers' Kenny Rogers was brutal. He literally had to be pitching a perfect game. The slowest catcher in the world could get on first. He would throw over there 4 or 5 times. The 1-2. This one low, 2 balls and 2 strikes as Cordero battles back here from an 0-2 count. Van Meter completely out of rhythm here. Runners on first and second, don't understand it. You have to pitch with runners on base. The 2-2, swung and fouled down the left side. Count remained 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Van Meter's only given up 2 earned runs all season in 9 1/3 innings pitched. Used to being in these type of situations here against a dangerous hitter like Cordero.
This is painful. 20, 30 seconds between pitches here. This one swung and fouled off. Cordero had a healthy hack at that one. Count remains 2-2, so he will see a 7th pitch here, and let's see how long Van Meter is taken here. Cordero might as well take all the time he needs to get back into the box. Van Meter just never ready.
Staring down Cordero for, what, 10, 15 seconds, and it's actually a quicker release.
This one foul down the left side. That one carries back onto the field, so the clock has begun. Let's see how long it takes Van Meter to throw the next pitch here. No score here in the bottom of the third. Skeeters trying to strike first with runners on first and second, and only one away. I guess the secret to getting to Joe Van Meter is getting guys on base. Loses his focus on the hitter. And this one is hit into center field. A liner that Ruby Silva kind of misjudged a little bit. Throws it back in. And there is out number 2 on the line up to center. That was 30 seconds between that last pitch.
I felt like that last pitch was quicker than most of the pitches he's thrown tonight as well. Still very long, 30 seconds.
So in steps Derek Norris, who struck out his first time up. That was the first of 5 straight strikeouts that Van Meter had from the first through the second. Skeeters with 3 hits, no runs. York, no runs on 1 hit. Well, in steps the Skeeters right-handed hitting catcher, 250, 3 home runs, 17 RBIs. First pitch here is a strike at the knees. No balls and 1 strike to count.
You like his little nickname tonight?
What is it?
Spideric Man.
I think it wants a stretch.
It's not bad.
This one is a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike to count here. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 on. Skeeters trying to break this scoreless tie here. This one swung and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes as Norris goes down to 1 knee. Good Van Meter. He's got the advantage at 1-2. He's walking around the back of the mound.
Still nobody getting loose in the bullpen.
See if Norris can continue his hot hitting here. He's been Mr. Extra Base Hit here lately. The 1-2. Swung and a single into center field. That's going to drop in. They're going to wave around Walsh. And they may have the runner at second, but they don't as the ball gets past him. Walsh scores easily. Good decoy by Rondon. And the Skeeters take a 1-0 lead.
Derek Norris, the Major League All-Star, stepping up when the Skeeters needed him. Our player of the game from last night, getting a huge RBI for the Skeeter team. And it's tough to beat Sugarland when they score first, like you mentioned earlier this broadcast, Ira.
Here comes the pitching coach for the Revolution, Paul Fletcher. Well, Fletcher will have a quick word here. Well, it is time for a little Baseball 101, brought to you by our good friends at Texas State Technical College in Fort Bend County. Make your own history by earning your associate degree at TSTC. Visit tstc.edu to learn more. Well, on this date, June 1st, 1925, Lou Gehrig, making his only appearance as a pinch hitter in a 17-year career, begins his streak of playing in 2,130 straight games when he comes off the Yankees bench to get a hit with a rookie, Pee Wee Waninger. That's a beauty. Now, of course, that streak held for a long time until Cal Ripken broke his mighty record. A record people thought would stand forever. Matter of fact, Cal played every inning of every game for over 2 years. Well, Skeeters leading 1-0. Hawkins awaiting his first pitch, and this one swing and a miss here. Chased a high fastball. No balls and 1 strike here on Hawkins, who came in batting .235 with a league-leading 8 home runs and 30 RBIs. Van Meter now approaching 50 pitches. This one low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to count here.
Thought you might have liked that. A little Yankees history here on the broadcast.
I enjoyed it. Nice job. Van Meter has never thrown more than 27 7 pitches in a game, so he is double that. This one a little blooper left side. The third baseman Wilson dives and comes up with it. Kind of a late break on it. He grabs it just to the left of home and right of third. Foul out will do it. But the tie, a third of the way through, end of the third inning. Skeeters have a 1-0 lead. Well, we move to the top of the fourth inning. Skeeters have their first lead for Matt Sergey, who's pitching a gem, has allowed just one hit through the first three, and to will his way through the next few, it is our own Will Scott. Will, it is all yours, partner.
Well, tonight I'm Flash.
Flash. Well, don't fly through these innings.
Well, I gotta say, Ira, I think that not only you're the best dressed in the broadcast booth, but the best dressed in the stadium tonight. You went all out on your attire for Superhero Night.
Well, it's not hard to be the best dressed in the booth. There's only two of us.
Skeeters and Yorks got a good one brewing in Sugarland tonight. Skeeters up 1-0 as we head to the fourth inning. Matt Sergey, Ira, who really struggled his last time out in New Britain. Really got to love this start from him. Big for his confidence and for a Skeeters team that has lost so many pitchers to the big leagues thus far this season, including our ace, Mitch Talbot, last week to Cleveland. You got to love what you're seeing from Sergey tonight.
Of course, Pete Incaviglia has a lot of confidence in him. Played for him 2 years ago in Laredo, so certainly brought a core four with him in Phipps, Sergey, Winkler, Rondon.
Alexi Casilla up to bat now for the Revolution. First pitch on the way from Sergey, and Casilla looks at strike one. Casilla, the former Minnesota Twin. He was really good with the Twins, Ira. Really productive over solid seasons.
Yeah, he was terrific.
Made his major league debut in 2009. The 0-1 delivery from Sergey, and swing and a miss right there. Couldn't tell if Casilla made contact or not, but that was just a big whiff for strike two.
Mentioned the confidence Inky has in Sergey. He joined him late in the season in 2015 after spending most of the season with the Washington Wild Things in the Frontier League, and in 3 games he went 2-0 and did not allow a run in 3 starts.
A little bit inside there on the 0-2 from Matt Sergey. Casilla hit .281 in 2008 with Minnesota and hit .276 in 2010. Also spent time in the Rays, Tigers, and Blue Jays organization.
Oh my.
Swing and a miss. Strike three, throw back over to first, and that is strikeout number 4 for Matt Sergey. Second one in a row. That'll bring up the former Sugarland Skeeter, Wellington Dotel, who grounded out to Sergey his first time up. We were talking off the air, Ira, before the game that you really felt like Wellington Dotel was going to come to play this series based on what happened earlier in the season with him at Sugarland.
Got off to a slow start, and sometimes that's just what happens. Pete had to, consider whether he was going to get better or not. And sometimes your decisions are right, sometimes they're not. And he was hitting 172 in 29 at bats.
Great play from Alvaro Rondon, but he couldn't find Chavez at first. Threw it a little bit low, got past him. So Wellington Dotel will reach. I believe that will be ruled a single. Would have been a bang-bang play had he got it to Chavez. We'll wait for the official ruling.
I think you got to score that a hit. That was a great play for Rondon just to get there.
That'll bring up Melky Mesa. He flew out to left field his first time up. He has a runner on in Dotel at first base. So he awaits the first offering for Matt Sergey. Norris setting up a tad outside. There goes Dotel, throw to second, not in time. Good play from Colin Walsh to keep that from reaching the outfield. Normally don't see Derek Norris overthrow Colin Walsh, Ira.
Nope, he had to hurry the throw. I mean, he played with Dotel, he knows his speed. That's his 6th stolen base of the year for Dotel, so you can see that Dotel wants to kind of prove his old manager wrong. Gets the hit here, by the way, it was ruled a hit, and it steals his 6th base of the year.
Has a decent sized lead at second base, too. Sergey looking back, delivers the 0-1, swing and a miss. 0-2 to Melky Mesa. The former Trenton Thunder player, played with the Yankees, signed actually as an international free agent as a 16-year-old in 2003.
It's amazing. Must be tough to be a pro at 16 or 17. See it a lot for the Dominican players.
Fouls that one off down the right side. Still an 0-2 count to the former New York Yankee. Also spent some time in the Royals organization before being traded to Toronto.
Sergey, a pretty good pitch count. Just 46 pitches here in the 4th.
He had 89 his last time out. Just pitched 5 innings in that loss at New Britain. Sergey fires the pitch, and that's also fouled off down the right-hand side for the 2nd straight time for Mesa. The designated hitter. Wind not blowing as hard as it was earlier, but still a pretty strong breeze coming in from right field. Wellington Dotel at second base after he just stole it with 1 out here. Skeeters 1, York 0. A matchup, like you said, Ira, between the 2 defending champions of this league. Sergey keeping a close watch on Dotel at second base. Dotel's kind of jumping back and forth there at second, trying to get in Sergey's head. Okay, just got to focus on Mesa right here. The 0-2. Ground urged right to Cordero at third base. Throw to Chavez at first for out number 2. Cordero making sure Dotel did not advance, and he did not. 2 down here for Zach Wilson from Long Beach, California. He's batting .262, 4 homers, 14 RBIs this season. He flew out to left field his first time up. Matt Sergey trying to get through 4 scoreless innings here. He just has 1 batter to go. His only win this season was against Southern Maryland. He's 1-2 on the year. Went 5 innings pitched in that game, 1 earned run. He has not been past 5 innings once this season, as he delivers delivers the first pitch to Wilson. Fly out right to center field. Kubica gets under it and makes the catch. One hit, one runner left on for the York Revolution as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Skeeters 1, York nothing. Joe Van Meter back on the mound to start the fourth inning for the York Revolution. Skeeters up 1-0 here. Derek Norris drove in the lone RBI in the last inning against Van Meter. But they're going to keep Van Meter in right here. His only start this season, he didn't go past 2 innings at all coming into this one, and now he's heading into the fourth inning. He's pitched very well tonight. He has struck out 6 Skeeters. Matt Chavez was one of them as he comes up to the plate right now to start the bottom of the fourth. Chavez, .358, 1 home run, 19 RBIs on this season. I guess we need to call him Matt Man tonight for superhero night here at Constellation Field. First pitch on the way to Chavez, and that's outside for a ball.
What superhero power would you like to have?
Whew. Probably speed, just like Flash.
Just always in a hurry, are you?
That's what I'm saying. What about you? What superhero power would you have? Chavez, that one's going deep to left field. Way back to the warning track. Wellington Dotel gets under it and makes the catch. Chavez thought that one might have been gone. Maybe the wind prevented that one from leaving the park, Ira.
Yeah, it certainly did. Dotel took a tough route, and he's a pretty good outfielder. Went back to the wall and then kind of came in for it. I think either flying or X-ray vision.
Flying is good. I should have chose that one.
Could go on the road trips without a plane.
Dennis Phipps now up to bat for the Skeeters as he looks at strike one. Phipps struck out his first time up. Nearly got hit right there on the inside pitch from Van Meter.
If the Skeeters can go a little deep in counts here, they could really get to Van Meter this inning. He is way past what he's usually used to throwing. He's got twice as many pitches he's thrown all year.
Little bit outside there on the 1-1 makes it 2 balls, 1 strike to Dennis Phipps. Skeeters leading 1-0 here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Got a couple of Revs pitchers starting to stretch out in the bullpen.
That one gets past the catcher Clark. 3 balls, 1 strike on Phipps. That was actually, Ira, the first time this homestand that the Skeeters have scored before the 6th inning.
Interesting. Well, better late than never, I guess.
Swing and a miss from Dennis Phipps chasing at that pitch upstairs. Probably would have been ball 4 had he laid off. Payoff pitch upcoming from Van Meter to the former Cincinnati Red Dennis Phipps. Phipps calls time. Gets right back in the box, though, awaiting the payoff pitch from Van Meter. Swing and a miss. Van Meter strikes out Phipps for the second time this game and strikes out a Skeeter for the 7th time. Two down here.
Seems like the Skeeters have struck out a lot lately. We saw the Ducks pitcher 14 strikeouts, but I think it's just running into good pitching. I don't think they're striking out more than they usually do.
Well, that's what the point we were making last night. You know, the Skeeters only scoring 1 run for the second time in that series against Long Island. But the pitching has just been solid on both sides.
Yep, no doubt.
Kyle Kubica at the plate now, looks at ball 1 down low. Kubica batting .252 this season, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs. He got off to a great start, but last 6 games just batting .263. His average was high as, .380 just a couple weeks ago. Fouls that one off down the right side.
That was pitch number 60 by Van Meter. 41 for strikes, 19 for balls.
Van Meter's season high in pitches was in the first game against Lancaster, just 27, so he has doubled that from that one outing. The 1-1 on the way to Kubica. That one's fouled off behind home plate. And this has to make the Revolution feel good, losing a guy to affiliated ball, to see Van Meter pitching like this. And he's no doubt capable of being a starter, I think, just based on what we've seen from him tonight.
Well, I think the great players really in this league, guys like Rondon, he was a starter here at the beginning of the season. Then the Skeeters has Ray Navarro and Colin Walsh. Suddenly he was on the bench. I think the guys who come off the bench and rise to the occasion are really the guys you want on your team.
That one's fouled off way above the press box here at Constellation Field. Sun pretty much has set for the most part on another gorgeous night here in Sugar Land. We've gotten very lucky, Ira, this season. York Revolution broadcaster Darryl, is telling us that they haven't been very lucky with weather up there in Pennsylvania.
Well, Pennsylvania is even worse than Syracuse, where you're going to school. I mean, it gets cold there.
Kubica lines one to right field, but Jared Mitchell tracking it just in front of the warning track for out number 3. No hits, no runs, nobody left on base for Sugar Land as we head to the 5th inning. Skeeters leading the Revolution 1-0. Welcome back to Constellation Field. Matt Sergey has been flying high here on Superhero Night. He's just allowed 2 base runners, and he has struck out 4 York Revolution batters. Michael Burgess steps in to the box. .193 on the season, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. He struck out his first time up. First pitch on the way for Matt Sergey. And it's swung on and missed by Burgess. In his last 10 games, he's 6 for 35 with a 171 average. 9 strikeouts in his last 5 games, including that one from earlier. 0-1 delivery on the way for Matt Sergey, upstairs for ball 1. Burgess is a proven winner. He won a title with Somerset in 2015 and then a championship with York last season. He's played 3 seasons in the Atlantic League and has 2 titles to show for him.
He's a winner.
Upstairs once again for ball 2. Burgess spent 4 years in the Nationals organization. Actually spent some time with the Corpus Christi Hooks as well. So used to this Texas heat. 2-1 pitch is fouled off behind home plate. Makes it a 2-2 count to the former Corpus Christi Hook.
Got to tell you, I got new respect for Superman. This cape gets in your way. I mean, if you're traveling everywhere with it.
Even had a mask on earlier.
Oh, that mask is coming back for the stretch.
It was hard to take you seriously in that mask.
Harder to see in broadcast is the only reason it's off.
Outside for ball 3. Brings up a payoff pitch to Burgess for Matt Sergey, trying to strike out his 5th batter tonight. Pitch on the way, way inside. And that is a walk. Burgess will head over to first base. That is the first walk tonight from Sergey. That brings up Jose Cuevas, who grounded out his first time up. 360 average the last 6 games for Cuevas. Just 268 on the season, though. 5 RBIs to show for him. Oh, man, you got to love that walk-up song.
What was his walk-up song?
Party in the USA. I heard that on the radio.
Who sings that?
Miley Cyrus. That was one of her good songs. Hit right at Rondon, but it gets past him. And that'll be a single for Jose Cuevas, who has now 10 hits in his last 26 at-bats.
You realize Miley Cyrus as a walk-up song is sarcastic for the opposing team, correct?
No, that I believe what's showing is their walk-up music from back home.
No.
Oh.
Nobody plays good walk-up music for the opponent. It's sarcastic. Weak songs, girly songs.
Party in the USA would be a fantastic walk-up song. And we got a meeting at the mound here. Pitching coach Corey Dommel. So Matt Sergey is going to stay in the game, it appears.
I think they might start getting somebody loose down there. There's somebody standing around and nobody throwing yet.
He just allowed his 3rd hit of the game. All have been singles, but 2 runners on now. This is the 2nd base runner that has gotten in scoring position for the Revolution. Matt Sergey, as I mentioned, has not gotten past the 5th inning before, has never reached the 6th inning. He's pitched very well tonight. Pitch count still fairly low. Is Ruby Silva. Steps into the box. He's been on a tear. 404 average his last 7 games. 24 strikeouts, though, in the 23 games he has played this season. He grounded out to second base his first time up. First pitch on the way for Matt Sergey. And he squares to bunt. He got a bunt down. That ball is hit right at Cordero, who will throw him out at first base. But the runners do advance Burgess gets to third and Cuevas gets to second, so just one out, and the Revolutionary here are in business. 2 runners in scoring position.
It's the biggest threat they've had all night here against Sergey. The only runner to get to second before was last inning when Dotel got a 1-out single and stole second, but it's clearly the biggest threat here. Now you could walk the number 9 hitter, which I don't think you would do to load the bases and set up a force at every base, but you got to come after Clark here, batting just 179.
Batting just 179, like you said, but he did get a single in his first time up. That was the first base runner Sergey allowed. First pitch on the way to Clark. The catcher for this team is a little bit upstairs for ball 1. Clark last season only hit 180. Not much of an improvement from what he's done this season. Sergey fires the pitch. A little bit down low and outside. 2-0 count to Tyler Clark, who has struck out 19 times in his first 14 games. The Connecticut native. 2 runners in scoring position here. Skeeters leading 1-0, trying to retain that 1-0 lead. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Makes it a 2-1 count.
You got to come after Clark here. Sergey's got to throw him his best stuff. We really need an out here. Sac fly would get a run and tie this game up.
Top of the order coming up for this York Revolution team. Couple dangerous hitters in Jared Mitchell and Alexi Casilla. Norris setting up outside. And Clark fouls that one off. 2-2 count to Clark. 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Matt Sergey has pitched brilliantly tonight, trying to keep his outing scoreless. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch from Sergey. And that looked right over the plate, but Eric Davis is going to call that one a ball.
Wow, maybe a little low. That looked like it had plenty of the plate. Now full count. Sergey doesn't have to give in here. Does have first base open, but I'd really like to get Clark, the number 9 hitter, batting under 200.
Payoff pitch on the way to Tyler Clark. And he looks at it, and it will be called ball 4. Once again, appeared to be right over the heart of the plate.
Pete Incaviglia might lose his mind here, because even Sergey had both palms up, like, where was that pitch? Where was the last 2? And I guarantee Pete's going to come out, try to settle down Sergey. No, he's going to go to the bullpen here with poor Matt Sergey.
That's a shame. Sergey, unfortunate. Looked like it should have been 2 called strike 3s on Tyler Clark. And his night is done. 4 1/3, no runs, 3 hits for Matt Sergey. 73 pitches. Excuse me, 63 pitches. Are you a little bit surprised? As we will take a break here. Matt Sergey's night is done.
Well, new pitcher on the hill for the Skeeters is the 33-year-old lefty, number 24, Dan Runsler, 6'4", 210, from Santa Monica, California. 12 years as a pro. He's been in the big leagues with the Giants as well as Pittsburgh last year. He has 10 straight scoreless appearances for the Skeeters after a couple of rough outings, and his ERA continues to plummet. No record, a 4.09 ERA now. This will be his 14th appearance. In 11 innings, he has struck out 10, walked 8, and allowed 10 hits. Last time out against the Ducks, just last night, 1 perfect inning, no runs, no hits, no walks, no Ks, and the Skeeters' 1-0 victory over Long Island.
Good to see him kind of finding his stuff after a rough start to the season, like you said. Jared Mitchell, the national champ for the LSU Tigers, up to bat now with the bases loaded. And he looks at ball one, just a tad outside, according to Eric Davis. That one didn't look too bad either, Ira.
No, not too bad at all. Sergey still responsible with the 3 runners on base, but 4 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 63 pitches, 42 for strikes.
The 1-0 from Runsler is a strike right over the heart of the plate. Skeeters finally get a call. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bases loaded here. Skeeters trying to retain their 1-0 lead over the defending champs. Runsler delivers the 1-1, and that is belted to center field, but that's going to be a extra base hit for the York Revolution. This might be a bases clearing triple. 3-run score. The throw to third is in time. So Jared Mitchell will be credited with a 3-run double. Burgess, Cuevas, and Clark all score, and it is a 3-1 lead. That ball went right over Kubitz's head, and it looked like he had a play on that ball at first, Ira.
Yeah, I think he misread that ball. And really, when he watched the base runners, there was a track meet between Cuevas and Clark. I mean, they were right behind each other. All 3 runs will be charged to Sergey, and now everybody else will be charged to Runsler here.
All 3 runs scored pretty easily. Is Alexi Casilla up to bat now with nobody on base, but with a 3-1 lead as he looks at strike 1. And as Will Farrell says, wow, that escalated quickly. Didn't expect that to happen as Matt Sergey, who, that's a shame because he pitched a dominant game. Swing and a miss right there from Casilla makes it 0-2.
So the number is final on Sergey, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned now, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts.
Alexi Casilla down in the count 0-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Dan Runsler kicks and fires, and it's inside for ball 1. Alexi Casilla, former major leaguer, obviously known for his time with the Twins, but also appeared in the major league with Baltimore. Strike 3 called right over the plate. Casilla just standing there. He needs to get back to the dugout as Runsler strikes out his first batter of the night, but the York Revolution take the lead. 3 runs on 2 hits. Nobody left on base. Revolution 3-1 over Sugar Land. The Skeeters look to respond as the York Revolution tacked on 3 runs in the top half of the 5th inning. Colin Walsh up to bat now for Sugar Land. His 3rd game back since being activated from the disabled list, and something I don't think we expected before the game, at least, Ira. Joe Van Meter on the bump to start the 5th inning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much further he can go. There is action in the Revs bullpen, but I think if you're Mark Mason, the manager for the Revolution, you get one more inning out of Van Meter, who was not expected to start. I think you are thrilled, and he'd like to go this inning so he can qualify for the win now that the Revolution are up 3-1.
1-0 pitch to Walsh is called a strike. Colin America is the nickname for Colin Walsh today. That's a pretty good one. Very nice Photoshop job. Swing and a miss from Walsh right there on the 1-1 offering. Makes it a 1-2 count. Skeeters trailing 3-1. If you're just now joining us, York scored 3 runs in the top of the 5th. What probably could have been prevented is Kubica misplayed that ball in center field. Walsh looks at ball 2. Walsh singled his first time up. And looks at ball 3 right there. Payoff pitch upcoming from Van Meter to Walsh. Van Meter has struck out 7 Skeeters tonight.
Van Meter might be running out of juice. He looks very lethargic here to start. Nothing but off-speed stuff.
And a called strike 3 would appear to be maybe a little bit off the plate. Colin Walsh striking out, and that's 8 retired now. 8 struck out, I should say, by Van Meter. And I don't think either of us agreed with that ruling.
Looked to be a little bit low and away. Give Walsh credit. He didn't make a fuss. He just walked straight back to the bench. But after a bad call like that, I think he might come out here and fire this crowd up.
Alvaro Rondon up to bat now for the Skeeters. He looks at ball 1. He singled his first time up. 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Looks at ball 2 upstairs. And yeah, even though Van Meter struck out Walsh, that was not a pretty at-bat for him. Definitely looks somewhat sluggish, and he's thrown a couple balls here to start the inning. That's the 3rd straight ball thrown by Van Meter. Makes it a 3-0 count to Rondon. Expect him to take this one. The 3-0. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Rondon will head to first base, and the Skeeters have a runner on here in the bottom of the 5th.
It was the first free pass issued in this game by Joe Van Meter. Big hello to Maria and Matt. Matt here in the ballpark, coming all the way from Oregon. People hate when they say Oregon. If you're Oregonese, Oregonian, how's that go? Oregonianites.
That sounds about right. People say Oregon.
Yeah, people say Oregon, even though they're not from Oregon.
Pitching change. We'll tell you the new pitcher when we get back. Skeeters trailing 3-1.
Well, new pitcher on the hill is Zach Treese, number 9, 6'3", 210 from Hot Springs, Arizona. Last pitch for the Ducks last season. So far this season, he has had some trouble, to say the least. He's 0-1 for the Revs, a 19.28 ERA, his 6th appearance. He had 4 2/3. He has struck out 5, walked 3, and allowed 13 hits.
Anthony Jansanti in the game as Barrett Barnes was ejected earlier. Jansanti was supposed to have the night off. First pitch on the way to Anthony is fouled off behind home plate. Treese, another Australian League alum. Played for Brisbane last season, also played for Long Island last season. 3.84 ERA in 53 games with the Ducks, but like you said, a really rocky start to this season, and the Skeeters have an opportunity maybe tack on some runs against them.
Oh, Treese in his first appearance, 2/3 of an inning, allowed 6 earned runs. On April 28th, his next appearance, not much better, May 2nd, did not record an out, took the loss and allowed 4 runs. The last 3 appearances scoreless, hence the 19.28 ERA.
Jansanti skies that one. The second baseman, Casilla, comes over to make the catch near first base for out number 2. So Jansanti flies out his first time up tonight. And Albert Cordero, who has flown out his first 2 times up, is now up to bat for the Skeeters. 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Treese on the mound for York after a solid start from Van Meter. Van Meter not in line to get the win, though. Cordero smokes one in between left and center field. It will drop in for a base hit. Rondon rounding third. Rondon will score. And it is a RBI double for Albert Cordero. The Skeeters get a run on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. It's a 3-2 game.
Great piece hitting by Cordero. The switch hitter batting from the left side went the other way deep. Got it past Ruby Silva. Now it's a 1-run game here. And Cordero just comes through time and time again. For Cordero, his 7th double of the season.
So the Skeeters taking advantage against a sluggish pitcher here in Treese as Derek Norris steps in the box now. He singled his last time up, struck out the time before. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Pitch on the way to Dino. Is it Dino or Dino?
Dino. Derek Norris. Dino.
It's tough because we have Dinosaur Barbecue, which everyone calls Dinos in Syracuse. That's where I struggle. But Dino Babers is the head football coach for the Orange, so I really shouldn't be struggling with that name. The 1-0 to Norris is swung on and missed. Albert Cordero at second base after recording an RBI double.
You can just call him Norrisaurus Rex.
It's not bad. I actually like that one a lot. Norris batting .250 on the season, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. He had an RBI earlier in this game as time is called. That was Cordero's 19th RBI of the season. Make it a 3-2 game. Skeeters trying to tie it right now. Cordero in scoring position. And Norris looks at strike 2. He doesn't like the call. He's kind of chatting with Eric Davis about it. What I've noticed is Skeeters have put that same exact pitch in that same spot, and it has not been being called for Sugar Land.
If it continues, Gavilla's going to have something to say, maybe quite a bit.
The 1-2 to Norris is outside for ball 2. For Long Island last season, Treese, 3.84 ERA in 61 innings pitched. So you're kind of surprised to see such a sluggish start to this season as the crowd starting to get fired up here at Constellation Field. The 2-2 on the way to Norris. Swung on and missed. Treese striking out Norris to get out of the jam. But the Skeeters do add a run in the bottom of the 5th. 1 run on 1 hit One runner left on base in Cordero as we head to the top of the 6th inning. York leading Sugar Land 3-2. Sugar Land's own Kyle Winkler on the mound to start the 6th inning for the Skeeters. Kempner High School alum, 5'11", 195 pounds, and a right-handed pitcher. His last action was with Montgomery, Tampa Bay Rays AA team. This season he has a 5.68 ERA in 12 2/3 innings pitched, 9 hits and 8 earned runs allowed, 10 walks, and he has struck out 8 batters. And let's throw it back now for the play-by-play to the voice of the Skeeters, Ira Lehman.
Oh, thanks a lot, Will. Winkler will try to keep this a one-run game. Skeeters are trailing 3-2. Winkler allowed 2 runs last time out, a run the time before that. About 3 scoreless appearances before those 2. He will face his former teammate Wellington Dotel, followed by big leaguer Melky Mesa, Zach Wilson, the former Atlantic League 2-time All-Star, 3, 4, and 5. First pitch by Winkler. I'll never get used to that motion. Comes up high with the leg kick and then lunges at the batter. It's got to be semi-intimidating.
Dotel extending his hitting streak to 13 games earlier in this one, batting .340 now in that streak.
This one is skied to center field. Reaching back is Kubica. And bring it down for out number 1.
Well, Kubica had it that time. Last ball that was hit to him wasn't able to make that grab, Ira, and that's really come back to haunt the Skeeters, down 3-2.
In steps Melky Mesa. He is flatted to left, grounded out to third. Skeeters trailing 3-2. Skeeters are out hitting a revolution 5-4, however. As Mesa steps in, 333, a home run, 8 RBIs. Righty-righty match here for Winkler. First pitch from the Skeeters righty. This one is low and away. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Skeeters led 1-0 after the third, then 3 runs came in on a bases clearing double. That was in the top half of the 5th inning. Skeeters got a run in the bottom half of the 5th. That's where we are here. Skeeters trailing 3-2 to the defending champion York Revolution. This one is outside. 2 balls and no strikes to count here. Mesa, number 29. A little bit of a crouch. Very, very slightly open stance from the right side of the box. I think closed stances have gone the way of the dodo. The 2-0. This one high and outside. 3 balls and no strikes to count.
We saw Lou Ford use a close stance a couple times in that series against the Ducks, though.
Yep. The last of the Mohicans, the 41-year-old. The righty Winkler. They'll set up inside here. The 3-0 pitch. This one is high, ball 4. First walk for Winkler, 1 on and 1 out here. And we'll bring in Zach Wilson, who has been an Atlantic League All-Star for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs in the last 2 seasons. By the way, got clarification. If you're from Oregon, it's Oregonian.
There we go. Oregonian.
Oregon.
Good to know. You learn something every day, Ira.
There you go. Learning more here in the booth than at Syracuse University.
Very, very true.
What are they teaching you up there?
Stuff that really does not have much relevance.
Like how to get through snow?
I did learn that my freshman year, I have to admit.
Didn't come out of the house?
I mean, I got out. It was just a matter of making it to class, which seemed more and more difficult as winter went on.
Really? Those upstate colleges usually plow the campus like that.
They do a good job. They do. For me, you know, being a freshman, you live in a dorm that's farther away from main campus, and you have to walk up this big hill.
Was that the first time you saw snow?
First time I saw snow on consistent basis. Like I went skiing a few times, but nothing like what I saw in Syracuse.
First pitch here is down the middle for a strike. 0-1 here on Wilson. Where'd you go skiing?
Aspen.
Nice.
Very nice. You lived in Colorado for a couple years.
Yeah, I'm not a huge skier. I went a few times.
I'm more of a hiking guy than I am a skiing guy.
Hike down a mountain?
Pikes Peak.
There you go. That is quite a hike. This one is a throw to first. Diving back in head first is Melky Mesa. Skeeters trailing by a run, 3-2 here in the top half of the 6th inning. First meeting between these two teams this year. Norris will set up inside here, and the 0-1 by Winkler. Big bender. That one fouled back and out of play. But Winkler ahead, no balls and 2 strikes to count here to Atlantic League All-Star Zach Wilson.
It's funny because you may remember, Ira, in early December it snowed in College Station.
It snowed here.
It snowed here, but like College Station got 2 feet of snow. So College Station and here got a real snow day before Syracuse did that winter. Can you believe that?
Well, what I can't believe is the panic for a 1/4 inch of snow here. This one a check swing. I think he went, did he? No, he didn't, says the first base umpire. Wow. That was Brian Page who said no, go. Winkler, by the way, a fastball 90 to 93, changeup and a slider in his arsenal.
Zach Wilson just batting .288 over his last 10 games.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Another throw to first. Mesa back easily. Call him Melky Table. Mesa Spanish for that. Used to call Jose Mesa Joe Table. I always like Jose Batista's nickname.
So
Sound
wait,
like
Table is Mesa?
Mesa.
That's good to know. I start Spanish class on Monday.
There you go. You've learned 1 word.
It's more than I learned in my high school Spanish class.
Remember the ESPN guys used to call Jose Mesa Joe Table, and they referred to Jose Batista as Joey Bats. This one swung and grounded to the left side. Cordero flags it to his left to throw to second. The relay to first, not in time. Kind of a slow roller. So they get 1 out. Excuse me, that's out number 2 here. Fielder's choice goes down 5-4. Wilson at first now. You can erase Mesa. Well, it says Michael Burgess, the left-handed hitting first baseman who has struck out, walked, and scored. He's 0 for 1. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the top half of the 6th. Still plenty of time left in this one.
It'll be good to see Runsler. Sorry, Ira. It'll be good to see Runsler maybe get out of this inning because he's had some really rotten luck. Or excuse me, Winkler. He's had some really rotten luck earlier this season.
This one fouled straight back as Burgess just kicked his head back. He knew he missed a dandy. was all over that last one, 0-1.
Most of those games where Winkler put up multiple runs didn't get much help from his fielders, as you may recall.
No balls and 1 strike here on the first baseman. Winkler peeking over his left shoulder comes home, and this one hits the outside corner. Nice pitch by Winkler, painted the outside, and now ahead 0-2 on Burgess.
Well, finally the Skeeters get a call on the outside corner. Makes it 0-2.
Burgess, a big boy, 5'11", 220. It's like running back size. Norris sets up away. The 0-2 by Winkler. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Good inning by Winkler, just the walk of the only blemish. Middle still trailing by 1. We'll see if when we come back, they can come back. When we come back here for the bottom of the 6th.
Now on to pitch for the Revolution is Luke Westfall, the 6'3", 230-pound lefty from Clintonville, Wisconsin. And he reached Double-A with affiliated ball this season. He has a even 6 ERA in 9 games thus far. 9 innings pitched. He's allowed 7 hits and 6 runs, and he struck out 15.
Last time out, he allowed 1 inning. He had pitched 1 inning in. A perfect one at that, struck out the side in order, but the appearance before that, 1 earned run in 1 inning. The appearance before that took the loss 2/3 of an inning, allowed 3 runs, so been a little rocky over his last 3 appearances. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here at the bottom of the 6th. It'll be the meat of the order for the Skeeters. Courtney Hawkins, Matt Chavez, and Dennis Phipps. And before Hawkins can take a swing, he's going to go back to the bench. I think he noticed a crack in his bat. How do you notice that before you even take a lunge? I guess he's just observing.
Well, luckily he did. Remember when Anthony Santi had a cracked bat?
Well, he cracked it on hitting a pitch. This is a crack before he's even taken a swing. Once saw Bo Jackson swing and miss with no contact, and he broke his bat. I've never seen anything like it. Bo did about 6 things I've never seen before or since. Well, in steps Hawkins. Now he's ready. First pitch by the southpaw, Westfall. This one is high and outside, 1-0. Skeeters 3 runs on 4 hits. Revolution 2 runs on 5. No errors on either side of the ledger.
Westfall spent 2 seasons with the Minnesota Twins organization.
The 1-0 fouled off to the right side. 1-1 the count.
He reached Double-A Chattanooga, posted a 5.4 ERA in 18 games with them, and then did a little bit better in Fort Myers with the Advanced A team. 3.65 ERA in 17 games. This is his second season with the Revolution. Last season he had a 3.35 ERA in 45 games.
The 1-1. This one is low. You know, it would be accurate to say he pitched, I don't know, somewhere in Oshkosh, because he actually went to the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh.
Oshkosh?
Yes. It's fun just to say, isn't it?
Wow, that is fun to say. I could say Oshkosh as many times as I want on this broadcast now.
This one is pounded into left field, a bullet, but tracking it down is Dotel. So good out there, the former Skeeter and Atlantic League Player of the Year. Line drive bullet comes down in the middle of the left fielder. 1 down. Is it better than Emilio Bonifacio?
Yes.
Really? Wow.
It's tough to beat Emilio Bonifacio, but I mean, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, that's Oshkoshian amazing.
Good working. Matt Chavez will step in. He has struck out and flied out. He's 0 for 2. Skeeters are trailing by 1, 3-2 here in the bottom of the 6th. They're going to set up away on the first pitch to Chavez. This one is fouled straight back into the net. Healthy hack by Chavez. Got a favorite name or word? Something that just rolls off the tongue?
Oshkosh?
You can't plagiarize that. I'm going to have to cover my paper over here.
I got to think about it now that you ask it. What about you?
This is not about me. It's not all about me. This is for you.
Fair enough.
Young Skywalker with Luke on the mound. This one is low, 1-1.
After his time in Oshkosh, Luke Westfall pitched for Gateway of the Frontier League, turned in 2 solid seasons with them, a 1.59 ERA and a 2.91 ERA in 48 combined games over those 2 seasons.
Also pitched in Fort Myers for the Miracle in the, of course, Bill Veck was the genius behind all these great minor league promotions. Mike Veck, his son, is the GM there. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Skeeters trailing by 1 here. 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out, none on. There's 1 down low. 2 balls and a strike here to Chavez. Chavez came in 5th in the league in hitting at 341. The home run and 7 RBIs. It's amazing. Sometimes you come here to Sugarland and get dipped in the magic of sugar, and Chavez having the best year of his career. I wonder how other teams have missed him. The 2-1. Big curveball. I'm not going to say it was a little outside. You wonder how he can lay off a pitch that close.
My goodness. They're playing the Major League clip just a bit outside there.
That was sarcasm at its finest. High and outside. Clark couldn't lunge and get to that one. 3 balls and a strike here on Chavez. Revolution pitching has allowed just 1 walk, and that was last inning by Zach Treese. Smelling another comeback here. Good hitters count. The 3-1 down low, ball 4. Well, 1 out walk here, 1 on and 1 out for Dennis Phipps, who has struck out both times up. Phipps came in 340, a home run and 9 RBIs. I have a feeling he might unload here. Got a lefty on the mound. He's a right-handed hitter. Westfall does not throw that hard. See what Phipps does here. Waggles that bat back and forth, tapping it off his shoulder. Now he asks for timeout. Westfall taking way too long. Westfall, not a good pitch count. 3 strikes, 6 balls, 9 pitches. This one is down low, 1-0.
Westfall pitched at Fort Myers, and Casey Coleman, who pitched last night for the Skeeters, a Fort Myers native, actually went to Florida Gulf Coast University, Dunk City as it's called. Maybe
the Long Island Ducks train there. I want to thank you very much for joining us here on 96.1 FM, is Sugarland's only radio station and the new home of the Sugarland Skeeters. Listen to the Friday night game of the week right here, each and every Friday night, both at home and on the road for the entire 2018 season. 96.1 FM and the Skeeters, it doesn't get any sweeter. Just a quick visit to the mound here by pitching coach Paul Fletcher. If you're a Chevy Chase fan, they refer to him as Fletch. I was a huge fan of that movie. So a guy named his dog Fletch. I thought it was a good idea for a dog name.
What Chevy Chase movie are you referring to?
Fletch.
Oh, that's literally. Oh, I haven't seen that. I'm more of a
Yeah, it's an 80s movie,
Christmas
Mr. Millennial.
Vacation guy.
A what?
More of a Christmas Vacation guy.
What about the original Vacation? Vegas Vacation. This one is hit into right field. A playable. Mitchell is there. And I'll bring down the line drive for the second out. 1-on-2 out here for Cal Kapitza.
I've seen it. It's not nearly as good as Christmas
Oh,
Vacation.
no way. No, sirree.
You're
Just because
talking-
it's a
wait,
Christmas movie.
That's the one where they go to the Grand Canyon as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Not nearly as good. Sorry.
Went to Wally Worlds.
I think that if you saw Vacation first and Christmas Vacation second, like you probably did, it might be different. But for me, seeing Christmas Vacation first and Vacation second, it just wasn't the same.
So you're telling me you had seen Incredibles 2 first and then the original Incredibles, it wouldn't be the same for you.
I haven't seen Incredibles 2 yet. I can't comment on that. But I will be seeing it very soon, that's for sure.
1 ball and no strikes here to Kapitza as we have an 80s millennial conversation, which cannot be won by a millennial. The 1-0. This one is down low. 2 balls and no strikes.
What do you think about Kupitza's nickname?
What's his nickname out there?
Hawkeye.
Is that the Green Arrow superhero? Is that what he's supposed to be?
I can't tell.
I guess it's somebody hawkish. I don't know that superhero. There's not too many I don't know. This one is just a little low. 2-1. Now they're not all winners. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Skeeters trailing 3-2, bottom of the 6th. Still plenty of time left in this one. Lefty-lefty matchup here. The 2-1, swung in, belted into right field. Will it fall in? Yes. And now it's going to get past the right fielder Mitchell. Around second, heading for third is Chavez, and the Skeeters in business here with runners on the corners and 2 down. Should be a hit and an error. We'll see how they score that one.
Kubitsa stepping up there, keeping this inning alive. He was 0 for 2 before that at-bat. Now you bring in Colin Walsh. See what he can do with runners on the corners.
Walsh, the switch hitter, will bat here from the right side against the southpaw. He is singled and struck out. Let's see how they rule that one. That is a single and an error on the, I say on the left fielder, but it was on the right fielder. It'll be an E6.
Might have a pitching change here.
Let's see, Mark Mason is going to take the ball here from Luke Westfall. So Luke, the Skeeters are your father. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll find out who the new pitcher is for the Rebs. We return here in the moment. Skeeters trailing by 1, 3-2, but threatening with runners on first and third. Back here in just a minute.
Runners on the corners for the Skeeters. Now on to pitch for the Revolution will be Robert Carson, the 6'4", 260-pound lefty from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Former major leaguer. This season he has a 2.20 ERA, 2-1 record in 11 games, 16 1/3 innings pitched.
Well, Carson, who's been in the Atlantic League since 2016, spent 2016 with both Bridgeport and Southern Maryland, last year with Southern Maryland as well. This one is a strike on the inside corner, 0-1 to Walsh. Walsh has singled and struck out. Skeeters threatening to tie here. They're down 3-2, but have runners on the corners with 2 down. It is Matt Chavez on at third, Kibitza on at first. This one is a fastball that misses outside, 1-1. Carson spent time in the big leagues with the Mets in 2012 and 13. Career numbers in the minors, 51 and 67, a 4.33 ERA. This one low and away, 2-1. Good hitters count. Now this would be an interesting situation, a hit and run with 2 down. Kibitza on at first, has decent speed. Would you try hit and run with 2 outs?
I don't know about 2 outs, but I'd love the call if they did do it. Go for the lead right here, not the tie.
The 2-1, this one hit high in the air but playable. Left center field. It's going to be the left fielder, Wellington Dotel. Will bring it down for the final. Threaten, but do not score here. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. 2/3 of the way through into the 6th inning. Skeeters trailing by 1, 3-2.
Hey there, Skeeters fans. Skeeters going to make a call to the bullpen. It's going to be the left-hander, Hunter Cervenka, the 6'1", 245-pound lefty, former big leaguer. Hunter's going to be coming on for his league-leading 18th appearance of the year. Yorga ahead 3-2 as we head to the top of the 7th.
Al Cervenka ready to deal here to 7, 8, and 9. Jose Cuevas, Ruby Silver, and Tyler Clark. First pitch here is a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to count. So no superhero action for you?
What's that?
No superhero outfit?
No
action?
Left it in the closet today. Didn't want to break it out. You guys, you and Will though, did a nice job. You guys did enough superhero dress up for all 3 of us, carrying me.
What outfit is in that closet?
You know, I think I might have to bust out a little Iron Man.
Nice. You wasted an Iron Man outfit?
I know, yeah. it was my third grade costume, so it doesn't quite fit anymore. I don't think you wanted to see me wear that.
That wouldn't be pretty at all. 1 ball and 1 strike here. Now Jose Cuevas, who has grounded out to second, singled and scored. Skeeters are trailing 3-2 here in the top of the 7th. There's one in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. And Cervenka has been unbelievably impressive lately.
Yeah, I mean, like I alluded to it too. I mean, his 18th appearance. They're obviously yesterday he didn't pitch, which is kind of an oddity. We usually almost got accustomed to seeing Hunter every game, and with the 1.69 ERA, and he's having a heck of a year.
Cuevas awaits the 2-1 from the Skeeters' former big leaguer. This one a high chopper toward short. Charging it is Rondon to throw to first in time. And there's out number 1. So 1 out, none on. Ruby Silva, a left-handed hitter, will come up here. One of the reasons Cervenka is in this game. Silva has grounded out to second and had a sacked bunt. He's officially 0 for 1.
And obviously now minus Danny Reynolds, you know, Hunter Cervenka's already had a pretty big role in this bullpen, but he takes on an even larger role because Danny Reynolds had been one of the best relievers out of the pen all season for the Skeeters.
For the most part, it was Reynolds in the 6th, sometimes the 7th, and then Cervenka in the 8th, and Felipe Paulino in the 9th. Who do you think kind of fills that 7-inning role now?
We've seen Matt West do a really nice job.
Yeah, he has been great.
5 games, hasn't a lot of run yet. A former big leaguer, and the guy has transitioned from position player into a pitcher, so you know he's got a big arm. I mean, they only let guys who have big arms go and do that. Interested to see if maybe Austin Adams, the new right-hander, former big leaguer, gets a shot tonight.
Last night we saw James Russell also with an impressive outing. Lefty-lefty matchup here for Cervenka. The 1-0. Swung and missed, and way behind that one. That was 90 miles an hour from the Skeeters southpaw.
Talk about impressive, though. I mean, Joe Van Meter for the Revolution coming in, and I mean, most people, even the York's broadcaster, thought he was probably going to go about 3 innings or so, and he gives you 4 1/3 innings. I mean, that's pretty incredible for a bullpen game. You gotta respect the effort there from him.
They set him outside the 1-1, swung and punch foul down the left side and deep. 1-2 the count. Cervenka fastball 92 to 95. A changeup, really has an outstanding curveball as well. Fireworks after the game here, as well as a Boy Scout sleepover. Maybe you can donate your Iron Man outfit to one of the Boy Scouts.
There we go. Good call.
Superhero themed fireworks. The 1-2 from Cervenka. Chases a ball way outside. It was about 5 inches off the plate. Chased the ball low and away, and that is out number 2 for strikeout 4. Hunter.
That swing tells you anything. That is a nasty breaking ball from Hunter Cervenka. No chance for Ruby Silva there.
Indeed. Tyler Clark will step in. Clark, not Kent. He has singled, walked, and scored. See how it worked that in
Yeah,
there?
no, that was smooth. It's a veteran move right there.
I think he's got an S under his chest. One of the parking guys saw me today, said, changed in the phone booth. I said, this is the year 2018. There's no phone booths anymore.
Yeah.
Just cell phones. It's amazing how phone booths vanished like almost overnight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely pretty minuscule part of my life. Obviously, I very, very early parts of my life would see them, but I mean, yeah, they're scarce if at all anymore, just on the side of the freeway.
That's one popped up and had to play. When we played the Ducks a couple of years ago, saw a phone booth at one of the Long Island Railroad stations, and in other countries you still see them. Those red phone booths, which are now for display only in the town square here. I actually saw them in England, which is where they come from, and they actually worked. Not that I made a long distance
Would you
call.
believe that?
The 0-2 from Cervenka, high and outside 1-2.
Tyler Clark kind of got the James Skelton mold for a catcher. You know, pretty narrow. You wouldn't look at him and
but
say
Skelton's 5'11",
exactly,
165. Yeah. He's 6'5".
Yeah.
The tale of two tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Skelton too thin for a catcher. He's too tall. He's of the, as I mentioned earlier, Joe Mauer school.
Yeah.
The 1-2. Big, devastating curve. Got him. Strike 3, and that'll do it. 3 up, 3. 7th inning stretch time. Get your peanuts and Cracker Jacks. We do care if you ever come back. Skeeters trailing 3-2. Now the 7th inning stretch comes to its conclusion here. Skeeters are trailing 3-2. Robert Corson still on the mound. Skeeters still have 3 shots at it, down by 1. Hopefully that momentum will carry over. Hunter Cervenka, as the Revolution did not get the ball out of the infield, a ground out and 2 strikeouts.
That last pitch to the inning might have been the best pitch I've seen from Hunter all season. I mean, that was one of the nastiest pitches we've seen from any pitcher all year to get Clark to strike out looking. That was something.
9-1-2 here for the Skeeters. Alvaro Rondon, then back to the top of the order with Anthony Jansanti and Albert Cordero. The Skeeters have another come-from-behind victory. You can be as bold as Will Scott the other day, who called a walk-up. Now, granted, the wrong guy, but still a bold call.
Yeah, I mean, they were down to their last out a few nights ago, so I don't see any reason to panic now. You got 9 outs to play with still, and there's a lot of power in this lineup.
Super power.
There you go.
Lefty-lefty matchup here. First pitch by Carson, and Rondon squaring to bunt, pulls it back for a strike on the inside corner. 0-1 the count. Action in the Skeeters pen already. Let's see who that is. I'll use my superpowers. Matt West, speaking of which, just mentioned him. The 0-1 here from the big lefty. This one is in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike the count here from Corson.
It was a little disappointed to see in the heavy race for the most sacrifice hits in the Atlantic League. Alvaro had a chance to tie Somerson's Andy Chavez early in the game, and then instead he ended up getting a single and showed a flash bunt at his first pitch of the at-bat. So still in second place if you're keeping score at home.
The 1-1, swung and a miss, waved the ball low and away, 1-2. Carson, a big boy, 6'4", 260. From Oxnard, California. Doesn't Oxnard sound like a very intimidating place?
That's a little bit north of LA, right around Santa Barbara.
Yep.
Almost in my neck of the woods.
1-2 the count here on Rondon. Carson kicks and fires, and this one is just off the outside corner. Good eye by Rondon, now leaving the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, outside part of the plate's been a little inconsistent tonight from Eric Davis. We already saw Barrett Barnes get the heave-ho earlier in the game, and that one could have went either way, honestly.
That's putting it nicely. The 2-2. There's one low. That'll run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That'd be huge to get Rondon on here to start this inning. I mean, he's the fastest guy on the team. Extra bases obviously are going to score him, so big pitch here. See if
Rondon can get aboard here. Be the tying run on with nobody out. Payoff pitch here by Carson. This one is a low, ball 4. No, they called it strike 3. Wow. Rondon, no argument. Will walk off quietly. So 1 out, none on. Go back to the top of the order with Anthony Jansanti. Jansanti came in when Barrett Barnes was thrown out. Barnes had been 1 for 2. Jansanti was the first batter that Zach Treese faced back in the 5th. Popped out to second. You got to think if Jansanti can get on here with his speed, we try to swipe it back. I'll set up way inside here on Anthony. This one way inside misses as Jansanti ducks back the knees. 1 ball and no strikes. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. This one a little bit high and outside, 2-0. Nice crowd here. $5,560 fans here at the ballpark. The 2-0, swung and hit high and deep in the air to center. Going back is Silva. He has room in front of the warning track, brings it down. Any other place in the ballpark, that's probably gone, but Jansanti hit it the deepest part of the ballpark. We'll bring in Cordero, who has lined out to right, lined out to center, doubled and drove in a run. Skeeters trailing by a run, 3-2 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, tough break for Anthony. I mean, he's kind of mired in a slump right now, and he probably squared it up. That's about as good a ball he's squared up in the last week or so, and it ends up hitting dead central.
It seems every time you're in a slump, even the balls you crush or hit right at somebody when you're on a hot streak, you get a dying quail or seeing eye single or a broken bat. They're going to set up outside here on Cordero. One swung and a miss. You know, we saw Matt Chavez got off to a great start, went into a little bit of slide. Same thing Kibitsa. That's typical. That's the way baseball goes. But is Cordero cooled off at all yet this year.
I mean, yeah, he went on, I guess, the 2 games after he went his 8-game hitting streak where he didn't get a hit. I guess you consider that cooling off. But again, tonight, I mean, I'm always impressed when guys can go opposite field like that. I mean, it just shows how strong you are. And Coco, obviously, with the RBI double to the left center gap. Man, he's been special this year.
You can say he's swinging a hammer there.
Yeah.
And on the scoreboard is Albert Thordero.
Yeah, the scoreboard's been awesome tonight. They've done a nice job with our graphics crew, putting together the headshots for all the superheroes and our players.
The mighty Alberts. This one swung a hit towards right center. Will it hang up? It will for the center fielder. That'll do it. Skeeters go 3 up, 3 down here. We are through 7 innings of play. Skeeters still trailing by 1, 3-2.
As we head to the top of the 8th, Skeeters going to make a call to the bullpen. It's going to be the right-hander Matt West. Matt West coming in at 6'1", 230 pounds, a Houston native, 29-year-old, former big leaguer. This is going to be Matt's 6th appearance of the season. He also pitched last night through a scoreless inning. Through 5 appearances, he does not have a record and does not have an ERA.
Oh, West will face the top of the order here in the top of the 8th. 1, 2, and 3. Jared Mitchell, Alexi Casilla, and Wellington Dotel. Skeeters trailing 3-2. They're out hitting York 6-4. And I always say this, we'll see if it happens. When you're out hitting the team by 3 or more hits and you're trailing, it's usually a matter of time before you take the lead. See if it comes to fruition here. Mitchell, the leadoff hitter, has struck out twice, and that big double that cleared the bases in the 5th. And that's been the difference. Skeeters trailing 3-2. In steps the left-hand hitting right fielder who came in hitting .270 with 3 home runs and 18 RBIs. West has been very good. First pitch here is low and in. Ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes to count. As Ryan mentioned, 5 appearances, all scoreless.
You kind of get the sense this bullpen is just kind of like, once one guy comes out, the next guy steps in, and it's just been, I mean, a revolving door, but in a good way almost. I mean, it seems like everybody's picked right where they left off.
You think Cavilli just ahead of the curve every time. It's unbelievable. And usually a team goes through a transition. You know, they'll struggle a little bit. You know, Skeeters lost Chassin on the road, a big part of their bullpen, and their ace Talbot, and yet the Skeeters just keep rolling.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen's hit the hardest, too. I mean, you lose Paco Rodriguez, you lose Alejandro Chassin, too. I mean, the rotation, obviously, with Logan Balcom and
Danny Reynolds.
Yeah, and Danny Reynolds. Like, yeah, it's hard to keep track of them. Yeah, so, I mean, you have 3 key members of your bullpen, and yet it kind of seems like it's still one of the strongest parts of the team.
The 1-1 foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes here on the left end of hitting Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it, too. I mean, James Russell, a former big leaguer, a guy with 7 years of big league experience. He came in and threw 3 scoreless innings yesterday to pick up the win in his debut. I mean, another guy you can count on to being a nice middle relief role for this team.
Spoke to Will about it a little yesterday. Do you think that Pete and Cavilla is benefited more or taken advantage more, maybe a better word, than the rest of the teams in the Atlantic League, getting all these mid-range free agents that are major leaguers that are still hanging out there?
Sure, and I mean they're not. I mean they're not oblivious. They got to see guys like Paco Rodriguez, guys like Mitch Talbot. I mean Mitch Talbot, over the 30-year mark, and he's getting another chance. I mean, if you're seeing that, why would you not want to come here and play for that? He's done a nice job of getting guys to the next level.
It seems like all those guys are out there, but Pete keeps finding them, and the other managers don't seem to be finding them. That's what puzzles me the most.
Yeah, preparation. I mean, even before the season coming up, and right when Courtney Hawkins was released by the White Sox, a couple of days later, next thing you know, Pete wraps up, and now he's leading the league in home runs. I mean, just things like that. He's a very, very ahead of the curve, like you said.
This one is drilled to left center field. This one's trouble. It's going to split the gap and roll towards the wall. Around first, heading for second. A leadoff double for Mitchell. Last thing the Skeeters need is another run scored against them. They're down 1-3 to 2. Alexi Casilla, the switcher, will bat here. Now you got to be careful. Casilla can both bunt, and he's a switcher. He'll bat from the left side, so I don't know if you'd waste a bunt on him here. All he has to do is drag it to the right side, especially with his speed. He might even beat it out.
It came in the game hitting 345 too, so like you said, I mean, kind of pick your poison here.
7th in the league in hitting, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. Casilla, the former big leaguer, will step in here against West. Casilla listed at just 5'9", but looks a little shorter than that.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Orlando Gomez, former Skeeters infielder. He came in about 5'6". I'd say that's about more what he's in the range of.
A battle of former big leaguers between West and Casilla. West looks at second. They'll set up inside. This one is swung and hit high in the air to right center. Let's see if Mitchell tags here. Kapitza has a great arm in center. Here comes the throw, and it's a good one. And it's going to be cut off by Rondon, and it will be a fly ball that advances the runner. No sac fly. Now runner at third with only one out, and a fly ball by Dotel. I give another run to the Revolution. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the top half of the 8th inning.
It's a heady play there by Alvaro Rondon. The throw clearly offline. Albert Cordero could have saved a run there. You never know. I mean, hard to tell offline that throw really was, but heads up play.
In steps Dotel. You think Dotel wants a little revenge from being released?
Yeah, and I mean, Alvaro Rondon just about robbed him of his only hit of the game, too. That would have been one of the better plays we've seen all year going to the middle.
Skeeters will bring the infield in here with only one away, a runner at third, and trailing by 1-3-2. First pitch by West. Big overhand curve, a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes to count. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Revolution. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Skeeters. See if West can bear down here, get a strikeout or a pop-up. Got to be careful here with Dotel. Came in batting .308 with a home run and 11 RBIs. The 1-0. Curveball again. West struggling with the curve here. 2-0.
Yeah, you obviously got to be careful here. I mean, a couple bases open, make your pitch. Obviously if you let up the walk here to set up a double play, so you don't want to leave anything hanging over the middle part of the plate.
You have the cleanup hitter, former big leaguer Melky Mesa on deck, so you can't exactly pitch around Dotel here. They set up away, and the 2-0. Fastball is a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike to count here. Game closing in on 3 hours. Good hitters count here, 2-1 with 1 down. Dotel waggles the bat. They'll set up outside again here. Trying to get him the reach to 2-1. Swung and fouled off to the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, what do you go to? Off speed, fastball.
A guy like Dotel, just from the very little bit we saw him, he seemed like he's a fastball hitter. I might flip my curveball in the dirt. I mean, you have the luxury of having Derek Norris behind the plate, likely going to get sucked up back there. So maybe a slider low and away here.
Let's see if Ryan's call is correct. I agree. 2-2 coming here to Dotel. The long look in by West from the stretch. They'll set him inside, going to try to jam him. And this one is, wow, missed inside. Looked like it had a pretty good piece of the inside corner. They are calling him out. What was Dotel still standing there for?
Yeah, he definitely stood in the box there for a second like it was a ball. Obviously, kind of probably just standing there in disbelief of the call. Nice job. It was like Dotel definitely expected something on the outside part of the plate to come in with a fastball in, and Matt West with a low to mid-90s fastball. Did a nice job burying it inside.
Turned him into a Medusa statue. So 2 outs. That is a big strikeout, and now West has a chance to get out of this with no run scored.
Infield back now too, so a lot more range there for the ground balls.
Big shift too. This one is high and outside. So second baseman Colin Walsh just to the right and behind second, but as deep in the hole as you can be is Alvaro Rondon. And Cordero behind the third base bag and just slightly to the right of it.
Yeah, on the same token, I'll outfield about straight up here too. Given him playing pretty deep, obviously respecting Melky Mesa's power, but love to talk to Pete, see how he ends up breaking down these shifts because they're pretty precise.
And they're pretty extreme too. The 1-0. So on swung and a miss. I mean, with the left side of the infield so far to the left, you would think Walsh would be cheating on the left side of second, but he's not.
Yeah, and you have, I mean, Rondon and Cordero pretty much almost playing the same position over there. Obviously, Rondon given a lot more range, and we know how much range he has in the arm there too, so he can make that throw if need be.
If it's just to the left of second, Walsh can get there, but if it's any further than that, Rondon will never be able to get that far to his left, our right. The 1-1. Swung and a miss, 1-2, and now West 1 strike away from getting out of a runner at third, 1 out jam, 2 down, and a 1-2 pitch coming here to Melky Mesa. Fans coming alive here. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the top half of the 8th. West lungs it and Norris long look in and have timeout. Take a look at the pitch count here on West. "14 pitches, 9 for strikes on another timeout. Get this moving, boys. Can't have 2 timeouts before a guy steps back into a box. Now everybody's ready. Thank goodness. They set up away. The 1-2 by West. Big curveball. Back towards the mound. West slips, grabs it, spins, fires it to first, and they got him. What a play in. Hopefully West did not get to his knees really quickly. That will do. Let's hope Matt West is okay as he gingerly walks back towards the dugout and grabs his right hamstring. So Skeeters are down 3-2. We'll see if they can tie it or take the lead. We'll get back here in just a moment.
Gonna head to the bottom of the 8th here with the Skeeters trailing 3-2. York's gonna call on the right-hander Grant Sides. Sides, a 6'4", 215-pound right-hander from Northport, Alabama. sides, he's coming on for his 7th appearance of the year. He's 1-0 and does not have an ERA in 7 innings pitched, including a save.
Sides will face the Skeeters here. Skeeters trailing by 1, 3-2. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 for Sugarland. Derek Norris, Courtney Hawkins, and Matt Chavez, some big hitters coming up here.
Yeah, definitely not the part of the order that you're going to get a guy on base and that they always allow the base paths here, but this is the chance to maybe get a solo shot, tie the game up.
Well, Sides has been with the Revolution now for 2 seasons. Last year 0-1 with an even 9 ERA in 5 appearances. Was all over the place last year. He spent time at AAA Reno in the Diamondback system as well as AA, also with the D-backs. The Kansas City T-Bones in the American Association, then finally landed in York to end the season. Lifetime 18 and 16 with a 3.33 ERA and 35 career saves. In steps Dino, Skeeters catcher Derek Norris. Norris so far today has struck out twice, but between he had an RBI single. Skeeters trailing by 1, 3-2 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Now officially starting to get late. This one is a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike to count. Wind still blowing in from right center. It's been like that all night. Get you an Atlantic League scoreboard here in just a minute. All the other games final. The 0-1 here from the right-hander. This one is high. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Let's take a look at that scoreboard now. Bees beat up the Ducks bad, 15-6, the final in that one. The Barnstormers unfortunately win, so the Skeeters, even if they come back here, will still be a game and a half back. Barnstormers beat Southern Maryland 4-2, and Somerset beats the Road Warriors 9-2. Skeeters here trailing 3-2 to the defending champion York Revolution here in the bottom of the 8th. Grant Sides, the 4th pitcher of the night for the Revs. This one swung a hit high in the air and deep to left field. Going back is Dotel, but he has it on the warning track for out number 1, a line drive bullet, but that wind has wreaked havoc tonight. Skeeters, 1 out, none on. Courtney Hawkins will step in. If anybody can hit a ball through the wind, it would be him with his massive power. He's 0 for 3. He has struck out, fouled out, and lined out. Came in hitting .235, but a league-leading 8 home runs and league-leading 30 ribbies.
4 home runs and 15 RBIs over his last 14 games. Like you said, if there's anybody to cut through the teeth of this wind, it's going to be him.
You're going to have to hit a low line drive, though. Balls in the air have been blown back. This one not going to do it. Ground ball to short. Cuevas, the shortstop, throws it to first. 6-3 on the putout. That is now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row retired by York pitching. Skeeters down to their final 4 outs here. As Matt Chavez steps in, Chavez has struck out, flied out, and walked last time up. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
Barring an extra inning game here, probably the last chance for Matt to extend his 7-game hitting streak is where it stands today.
You've done it now. Well, in steps Matt. 341, 5th in the Atlantic League, a home run and 7 RBIs. Righty-righty matchup here. First pitch by Sides. There's one a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Tomorrow in game 2 of this series, Skeeters will send out their right-hander, their ace, Brett Marshall, 2-0 with a 2.12 ERA against fellow righty Mitch Atkins, 0-3 with a 6.91 ERA. That seems like a mismatch on paper as this one is low and away for a ball 1-1.
We mentioned a little bit how the bullpen seems to be revolving door of talent. I mean, starting rotation, give him credit too. We saw Dallas Beeler with 9 Ks earlier this week. Connor Wade's been phenomenal too, stepping into a starting role too. So credit to those guys as well.
That's with Talbot being signed, Grissett on the DL.
And Logan Balcom also going to the Dodgers.
That's
too, so
right.
they took a couple hits to the rotation.
The 1-1 coming here to the Skeeters' first baseman. This one high, 2-1.
Mentioning that Grant Sides bounced around a lot last year. He's already bounced around a little bit this year. Had a cup of coffee with the Skeeters in spring training. Was signed and released kind of quickly. Obviously a pretty tough bullpen to crack. A lot of talent here. So he landed on his feet out there in York.
sides has not been scored upon in his last 8 appearances. The 2-1. Swung sky high on the infield right side. The second baseman Casilla. Who's going to take it? It will be Casilla. That one, a little snap catch there, and that will do it. Skeeters go 3 up, 3 down for the second inning in a row. That is 7 straight retired by the Revolution bullpen. They're going to take a break. We'll come back for the top of the ninth. Skeeters trailing 3-2 to the Revolution.
Skeeters going to make another call to the bullpen. It's going to be the left-hander Craig Sitton. Craig Sitton, number 15, coming in at 6'5", 190 pounds, a McMinnville, Oregon native. This is going to be Craig's 14th appearance of the year. Enters without a record at an 8.78 ERA.
Sitton will try to keep this a 1-run game. Skeeters are trailing 3-2. It'll be Zach Wilson, Michael Burgess, and Jose Cuevas. Wilson so far 0 for 3. He has flatted to left, flatted to center, and hit into a fielder's choice. In steps the right-handed hitting third baseman who came in batting .262 with 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. First pitch by the Skeeters southpaw is drilled into left center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Tough play for Kibitza. Almost overran that one. A leadoff single here. 1 out, none on for the left-handed hitting Michael Burgess.
Yeah, Kibitza's got such great speed. I mean, you almost assumed that ball was going to drop no matter what, and almost made a play on that.
Well, in steps the big Burgess. 193, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. That was not a Big Bird reference. That was the fact that
yes.
Burgess is a big boy.
He's a big fella, and that 4 former first-round picks between these two teams. You have Jared Mitchell and Michael Burgess, obviously, for the Revolution, and Barrett Barnes, who no longer in this game, and Courtney Hawkins on the Skeeters side. So
first pitch here, swung and a miss. That a ball low and away. No balls and 1 strike to count. Sitting a fastball, 89 to 91, a changeup, a curve, and a slider. Three appearances ago, in just the third of an inning, he allowed 7 earned runs. This one, ground ball to short. This could be 2. Rondon will step on second. The throw to first, and there's a double play. 6 unassisted, 3 DP. Now the Skeeters 1 out away from going to the bottom of the ninth, down just 1.
I just found out that to be kind of one of the buzzkills of being a reliever. I mean, you can go out and have one bad outing like that, and your ERA could be up around over 5 for almost a couple of months just from that. So, Craig Sitton, I mean, he's had his outings this year. Obviously, that one didn't go so hot, and his ERA is affecting him for sure. Now he's over 8.
Jose Cuevas will step in here. He is grounded to second, singled and scored, and grounded out to short last time up. 1 for 3. Big swing and a miss here. 90 miles an hour on the fastball from Sitton. 0-1 the count. Skeeters trailing 3-2. Both teams with 6 hits apiece. Looking ahead to that 9th, Ryan. Skeeters will have 6, 7, and 8. Dennis Phipps, Colin Kubica, Colin Walsh. Sitton from the stretch. And the 0-1. This one is in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. See where this temperature has dropped down to. All the way down to 86. Still a 65% humidity. The 1-1. This one is swung. He hits a right field. Going back is Phipps. Still going back, and he'll haul it in. I think that's the first fielding play that Phipps had to make all night.
Right, yep.
Well, that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down the unconventional way with a single, double play, and fly out to right. Last chance for the Skeeters. Is there another walk-off in store? Come back to see if the Skeeters come back. In the bottom of the 9th, they're trailing 3-2.
Last chance for the Skeeters here as we head to the bottom of the 9th, trailing 3-2 to the Revolution. York's going to call on their closer, Junior Rincon. Rincon going to be going for his 6th save of the year. So far this year, Rincon 0-1 with the 2.77 ERA. This will be appearance number 14 for him.
Oh, in steps Rincon, and so does Dennis Phipps. He has struck out twice and lined out to right. Last time out from Rincon, he allowed 1 run in 1 inning, 2 hits, a save, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Before that, he was unscored upon in his last 8 appearances. Phipps has struck out twice, lined out to right. Came in batting .340 with a home run and 9 RBIs. Skeeters trailing 3-2. See if Phipps can get on here to start the 9th. First pitch swung and fouled off to the right side. No balls and 1 strike to count. Skeeters, of course, with that big come from behind walk-off win in the bottom of the ninth 2 nights ago. Trailing again here in the bottom of the ninth, 3-2. The 0-1, swung in, belted out to left center field. This could be trouble. Long run, and Dotel runs it down again. Man, does he have speed out there. That is now 8 straight retired by this York Revolution bullpen. Well, in steps Kyle Kubica. Kubica has struck out, lined out to right, and singled. In steps the Skeeters, left-handed hitting center fielder.
Should I predict a walk-off again? Seemed to work last time.
Going to be pretty bold. Can't cry wolf all the time.
I'm going to lay off the prediction this time.
First pitch here. This one is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes to count. It is a super night. Anything could happen.
Well, it's so important to get the first runner on when you're trying for a bottom of the ninth rally. Skeeters able to do that 2 nights ago, unable to do it tonight with Phipps flying out.
Well, if you remember 2 nights ago, 2 outs, nobody on. That rally
that's right,
started.
that's right.
The hit by pitch to Norris, the walk-off by Hawkins. So they started literally down to their last out. This one misses. 2 balls and no strikes. I agree getting the leadoff guy on because play for the tie at home, the win on the road. Every time you come to the plate after that, it's walk-off time. I got to see, and I'm surprised this has never happened, as this one is in the dirt, 3-0. Surprised with all the sabermetrics numbers we have, there's never been a study on the advantage that the home team has when it gets to that situation. Extra innings especially. I mean, every time you come to the plate, you have a chance to win it. As soon as the score, the game's over. When you're on the road, you have to score, and then you have to hold the other team defensively. I got to think that it favors the home team quite a bit. The 3-0. This one is a strike at the knees, 3-1, but it's a good hitter's count. But Kubica is going to have to hit one a country mile to get out of here and right tonight with the wind still howling in from left center.
Maybe just try to get one on the ground here. Get past the infielders.
This one is hit down the right side, foul. That'll run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, Hawkeye is the superhero that he is impersonating here.
He's not even from Iowa.
A MASH reference. That's pretty good for a millennial. I'll give you that one. That show hasn't been on in like 30 years. Payoff pitch. Swung on a miss, strike 3. 91 on the gun. He blows the fastball past Kubica, and the Skeeters down to their final out here.
Well, you said it 2 nights ago. 2 outs, nobody on, down 1. They were able to win that game, but the bottom of the order right now, that definitely makes it a little bit more complicated.
The last chance to keep this one going. If Colin Walsh fails to reach here, this game will come to its conclusion. Walsh has singled, struck out looking, and flied out. 1-4-3 officially. This one is a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Rincon now 9 pitches, 5 for strikes, 4 for balls. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the bottom of the ninth. The 1-0. Curveball misses inside 2-0, and Rincon keeps falling behind hitters, but he keeps getting outs. Should Walsh reach, Rondon is on deck, and Pete really can't pinch in for him. He could send one player up, Javier Betancourt. We saw him do that the other night. This one low, 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, Betancourt's still a guy who hasn't recorded a hit yet with the Skeeters, and Rondon is batting .343 in his last 11 games. Had a hit earlier in this one. You expect him to stick with Rondon there in the 9 holes. He's on deck right now, actually.
Walsh has to take 1 here, up 3-0. A pitch by the right-hander. This one down the middle for a strike. 3-1 to count. A good hitter's count. Now this one has to be pretty perfect. Guarding the line at first, with Walsh batting from the left side, is first baseman Michael Burgess, just behind the first base bag, right near the line. This one is down low, ball 4. The Skeeters bring the winning run to the plate. The tying run is on for Alvaro Rondon. Then Anthony Jansanti waiting in the hole.
I think I'm getting deja vu. It's getting kind
All
of
over again?
blurry.
Here comes Paul Fletcher, the pitching coach, here for the Revolution.
Well, Rondon only hit 1 home run last season with the Air Hogs in 86 games. Has yet to hit a home run this season. So you don't think that, you don't expect him to do what Hawkins did the other night, but you never know. You see some guys that able to get some power on it, but gosh, with the wind blowing out right now like it is, I don't think we're going to see a walk-off home run.
With Barnes being thrown out of this game earlier and Jansanti coming in for him, you got to wonder, if Barnes stayed in this game, is Jansanti pitch hitting for Rondon now instead of being on deck? And potentially being left on deck if Rondon does not reach.
Even though Barnes was ejected in the 3rd inning, that was definitely, a big moment in this game. Barnes has been playing so well. And you're right, Jansanti could have been used as a pitch hitter right here. But I have confidence in Rondon.
Let's see if Alvaro can keep this one going. First pitch by the right-hander, Junior Rincon, is fouled off to the left side, 0-1. Rincon now evens up his strike and ball count, 7 for strikes, 7 for balls, 14 total pitches.
Really big gap between the left and center fielder for the Revolution. He can hit it there. It's definitely going to score Walsh.
This one is dunked into left field. That's going to be a base hit. And now the winning run is at first base. So an extra base hit by Jansanti would mean the game with the speedy Rondon out at first.
Oh my goodness, so you got Rondon, who is arguably the fastest player on this team at first base, is the winning run. Anthony Jansanti, he was kicking himself because he had a chance to walk it off against Southern Maryland during the last homestand. The crack of the bat kept him from doing that. Can he come in clutch right here?
And should Jansanti reach and not put the winning run home, you have Albert Cordero on deck, who's already driven 1 and is 1 for 4. See if Anthony can come up big here. Base hit would tie it. An extra base hit would win it. This one clubbed down the left field line, just foul. Rondon already at second base, would have scored easily.
You're right, had that stayed fair and it missed by inches, this game would be over. Love Jansanti being aggressive right there, swinging at the first pitch.
Let's see if Jansanti, who here on Super Night on the scoreboard is Ant-Man. All he needs is a little extra base hit. No balls and 1 strike. Rincon deals. This one swung and missed. 0-2. Great off-speed pitch. Jansanti way out in front looking for a fastball, and now Jansanti and the Skeeters down to their final strike here.
Well, Jansanti definitely taking an aggressive approach thus far. Swinging out of his shoes right there. But now he's down 0-2. Just has to get back in this at-bat. Be patient. Wait for his pitch.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Skeeters trailing 3-2 here in the bottom of the 9th. Looking for a comeback victory here. The 0-2 swung on, fouled off right side. That should make the seats, and does. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes.
Jansanti's not going to go down easily here, Ira.
Not at all, never does. Battling here. Rincon closing in on 20 pitches. See if he can stay alive here. Again, the 0-2 swung, a hit toward short. This might do it. They'll go the short route to second. Did he get him? No! What hustle by Rendon, and the bases are loaded.
That is unbelievable. I can't believe they didn't go to Jansanti at first with Rondon's speed. Cuevas, I don't know what he was thinking. He had Casilla at second base, just decided to go there, thought the game was over, and the Skeeters staying alive.
So Jansanti, it's a roller. I thought it was the right play. Cuevas shoveled it to Casilla, the short route, but Rondon busting it. And that's the kind of thing that wins you a game. And now here comes Albert Cordero. A base hit would win it. A huge gap in right center. The switch hitter batting here from the left side.
Well, he hit a walk-off in the first homestand, Ira. Can he do it again right now? All he needs is a single.
In steps Cordero, 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Swung on in, hit to right center field. This might do it. In comes the center fielder Sylvia, and that will do it. Skeeters load the bases with 2 outs, but cannot come up with a huge hit as the rally falls a little short here in the bottom of the 9th. Final numbers look like this. It is the Revolution with 3 runs on 6 hits. They commit 1 error, 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors here for the Skeeters. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll break it down. We'll have the final numbers. Ryan Postner will have our player of the game. All that and more. We return on the Skeeters post-game show in a moment. Welcome to the Skeeters post-game show. A disappointed Ira Liebman as the Skeeters rally falls a little short, leaving the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th. Let's take a look at the final numbers here. 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Revolution, 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for the Skeeters. The winning pitcher is Joe Van Meter. He improves to 2-0, and Junior Rincon gets his 6th save of the season. Matt Sergey, a tough loss, pitched very well, but he will drop to 1-3. Time of the game, 3 hours and 5 minutes in front of 5,560 fans here as the fireworks go off here on Superhero Night. Let's tell you how this one happened. It was the Skeeters who got aboard first. After the first 2 batters reached with singles, Colin Walsh singled, Alvaro Rondon singled, and the Skeeters had first and second with nobody out. But then Barrett Barnes struck out. Albert Cordero lined out, but a clutch 2-out hit by Derek Norris gave the Skeeters a 1-0 lead. The Skeeters went add to that lead in the 5th inning with 1 on and 1 out. It was Albert Cordero who doubled, and it was a 2-0 lead. Excuse me, the Skeeters trailed 3-2. It was in the top of the 5th when the York Revolution loaded the bases and a big 2-out double that got over the head of Kyle Kubica, and it was at that point a 3-2 game, and that's where it would end. Really terrific pitching by the Barnstormers as they retired 10 of the last 11, very Skeeter-like, and the Skeeters dropped game 1 against the defending champ York Revolution 3-2. Well, it's time for our player of the game, and let's head down to our own Ryan Postner. Ryan.
Thank you, Ira. I'm sitting by with Revolution outfitter Jared Mitchell, 2 for 4, pair of doubles and 3 RBIs today. Jared, all he does is rake. All he does is rake. Jared, 2 for 4. What were some of the keys for you today? The double and the pair of doubles and 3 RBIs.
LSU legend.
Excuse my teammates. Just trying to get back to the middle of the field. Early in the game, wasn't really seeing the ball well, so tried to really slow myself down and really stay in the middle of the field and try to get pitches over the plate to be able to do something with them. So with that hit, couple hits today, you extend the hitting streak to 7 games today. Now you're on a 7-game hitting streak. Like you said, how much was it kind of staying with your approach and not trying to do too much when you went in the slump to start the year? I mean, that's all it is, man. The season goes in waves, and I'm a true believer in you're never as good as you think, and you're never as bad as you think. So you just got to keep grinding day in and day out and try to find something that works for you. Absolutely. And last one, most people probably don't know, you guys had a pretty crazy trip over here. Your starting pitcher for tonight gets picked up by the Mariners and get a bullpen game. How big was that for Van Meter to do what he did and give you guys 4 1/3 innings tonight? It was huge for our bullpen. We got a tough week coming ahead. Coming down here for 3 games, and then we got to go to New Britain for 3 more. It was huge for our bullpen for him to come in and give us quality innings. So it was a good stuff. All right, that's Jared Mitchell, your Evolution outfitter, 2 for 4, pair of doubles, 3 RBIs. Skeeters dropped this one 3-2 to York. Back to you, Ira.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Between all those fireworks, not an easy job. Nicely done, Ryan. Well, the Skeeters with the loss dropped to 20-12 in the Revolution, improved to 16-12. And with the Barnstormers winning today, that means the Skeeters are now 2.5 games back in second place, and the Revolution are just 1 game behind the Skeeters. They're 3.5 games back. Tomorrow, it'll be right-hander Brett Marshall, the Skeeters ace, is 2-0, the former big league with a 2.12 ERA in the top 5 in ERA. He'll go up against right-hander Mitch Atkins, who is 0-3 with a 6.91 ERA. And we're joined back here in the booth with Ryan Posner. And first of all, good job with all those fireworks going on behind you. But, kind of a tough loss. You can say the Skeeters really didn't mount much of an offense, but losing with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth, trailing by 1, might be a little tough to swallow.
Yeah, they did a nice job. Junior Rincon's, he was bringing it, at least 93, 95 range, and to load the bases. That's another tough loss. It seems like the bats have been pretty quiet this week. Started, obviously, the beginning of the Long Island series. That 1-0 shutout loss on Tuesday kind of set the tone for what's been a pretty rough week for the bats.
Well, the Skeeters really great job by Matt Sergi in this one, Ryan. Really kind of underlooked in this game. He pitched a brilliant game after coming off a tough loss where he got hit hard in the first 2 innings, allowing 7 runs in his last start.
Yeah, and those 7 runs all came, like I said, you came in the first inning, so you kind of felt once you got past the first inning, he actually went 2 2/3 without allowing a hit. And a nice job by Matt Sergi. We've seen the stuff, his quality stuff from him, especially I think if he just gets over that hill that first inning, it's kind of been his big trouble spot. So nice job from him to get some length out of the start.
Skeeters are trying to rebound with Brett Marshall. Final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, touched on it a little bit. Kind of waiting to see, another game where we can get in that 7-8 run range. It's been just a really rough week. Credit Long Island's pitchers. You had guys like Matt Larkins, Jake Fisher, Bennett Perry come in and do a nice job. And, man, Joe Van Meter, I don't think even Joe Van Meter thought he was going to go 4 1/3 innings tonight. He hadn't pitched more than 2 innings in a game all season. So, nice job from him. You heard Jared Mitchell say how big that was for the bullpen for him to do that.
Well, that's going to do it for us here. An incredible night all around. Skeeters loses one by a final score of 3-2. Tomorrow, Saturday, a little bit of an earlier start, 6:05 first pitch. We'll be on the air here at 5:45. Special thanks to Ray Nelson and the folks at Sweet 96 carrying the Sugarland Skeeters Friday night game of the week. Remember, you can hear all Friday night games, both home and road, here on the new home of the Skeeters, 96.1 FM, Sweet 96. From my broadcast partners, Will Scott and Ryan Posner, this is Ira Living saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow night.